Live on a Wednesday night at Utah Grizzlies hockey, as it's game one of the best-of-7 series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyson Whiting. The Grizzlies are on the hunt for the 2023 Kelly Cup, as it's game one of the best-of-7 series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. Utah won 4 out of 18 meetings against the Steelheads this year, but Utah did have some success over at Idaho Central Arena, where they had a record of 3-6-1. Idaho had a little bit more success at Maverick Center. After all, it's the playoffs. You can throw the records and the record book out the window. As for the Grizzlies, they get a couple key players back from injury, as Dakota Raabe is making his first appearance since March 19th, and Johnny Walker's in there for the first time since March 29th, when he had 1 goal and 1 assist against the Wichita Thunder. Tarun Fizer will be in the lineup for the Grizzlies tonight. He took a skate to the face in the second period on Saturday against Tulsa. Received, I'm not sure how many stitches, but he received a lot of stitches. But he came back to the bench at the end of Saturday's game, and Tarun Fizer will be in there wearing number 8 for the Grizzlies tonight. Trent Miner gets a start in net against Adam Scheel. Scheel, one of the best goaltenders in the league. Should be interesting to see what the special teams look like in this series, as Utah went 8 for 15 in the 3-game series against the Tulsa Oilers on the power play. So Utah's power play has been hot as of late. The penalty kill has been on a roll as well. And it should be interesting, as we got the game right here on Flow Sports and audio on the Grizzlies YouTube channel, as it's going to be a fun one here tonight. It's a 2-3-2 format. The Grizzlies will be in Boise tonight and Friday night, and then the scene shifts to Maverick Center for 3 straight games, as Game 3 will be on Wednesday, April 26th at 7:10. Friday, April 28th at 7:10 will be Game 4, and if necessary, meaning the series doesn't end in a 4-game sweep, Game 5 will be on Saturday, April 29th, and if Game 6 and 7 are necessary, that's going to be on Monday, May 1st at 7:10, and Tuesday, May 2nd, Game 6 and 7 would be over at Idaho Central Arena. When we come back, we'll talk with Guy Chiarenza and get his thoughts on things. There is some news in terms of a Grizzly player winning a weekly award, and we'll go over the roster. It's pretty interesting. The 24-man roster for the Grizzlies for the 2023 Kelly Cup playoffs. We're in business on a Wednesday night, and you're listening to the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto Kennecott.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza as the hunt for the 2023 Kelly Cup begins tonight. Jordan Martell, the Rooster, was named the league's player of the week, as he had 1 goal and 7 assists in 3 games against the Tulsa Oilers. He was spectacular. Cameron Wright was equally as dominant for the Grizzlies. He had 5 goals and 2 assists in the 3 games against Tulsa. And it turned out the Grizzlies needed all 3 victories, or they at least needed 5 out of 6 standings points to reach the Kelly Cup playoffs. And really, they did so in spectacular fashion, outscoring the Tulsa Oilers 15-4 in the 3-game set. And, Guy, because of that, the Grizzlies do come into the postseason on a bit of a roll offensively, and they're going to need to do so against this tough Idaho team.
Tyson, I like where the Grizzlies are at right now and the way that they finished the season. I really think that last month of the season, last 4 weeks, those series that the Grizzlies played, I thought they played really well. And you're right, they're on a bit of a heater heading into the playoffs. That's exactly where you want to be. You want to be at your best, especially against a team like the Idaho Steelheads in the first round. So the Grizzlies are playing great hockey right now. Let's see if they can keep it up this series against Idaho.
Trent Miner picked up a shutout on Saturday night, stopping all 31 shots. Miner is the Grizzlies shutout king. He's got 10 career shutouts in the Grizzlies uniform and 10 career professional shutouts. And he's going to need to come up big, because goals might be at a premium for the Grizzlies against the tough Idaho goaltender Adam Scheel.
One thing you need if you're going to go far in the playoffs, Tyson, is elite goaltending. And right now, Trent Miner is that guy in net for the Grizzlies. I mean, he's been a wall, as we've seen on the Grizzlies' social media accounts. He's been a wall in net. He's been fantastic. And I think really the Grizzlies are only going to go as far as Trent Miner can take them. If he continues his elite play, the Grizzlies can go as far as the Kelly Cup, but it all starts in net for the Grizzlies. I think Trent Miner's a great choice.
Couple forwards returned from injuries. Dakota Raabe last played on it was actually March 19th against the Allen Americans. Raabe is back. He was outstanding at the time of his injury on March 19th. And the Grizzlies also get back Johnny Walker, the Worm, for the first time since March 20th. For some reason I want to say November, but the first time since March 29th. And it's big to have both guys back. For Raabe, his speed can make a difference. And for Johnny Walker, being that threat out in front of the net, he's Utah's best net front forward. That could be two big players for the Grizzlies here come this playoff series.
Yeah, not only is Johnny Walker a scoring threat, but he also brings a lot of physicality to his game. And I think that's something that the Grizzlies were a little bit lacking against Tulsa. We saw Mike McKee go after a few Grizzlies players. And I mean, there was a bit of a response from the Grizzlies, but there really wasn't that guy that would go in there and do those type of things to really kind of enforce, the law of the land. And I think Johnny Walker is that guy. So you get him back in this series against Idaho, a rivalry series at that. I think that's big. And you add Dakota Raabe to the mix. You're right. He was playing fantastic hockey at the time he went down. And I was really upset that, he was knocked out of the lineup because he was playing really excellent hockey. And now the Grizzlies get him back. So good to see him back in the lineup. Let's see how long will it take for him to get accustomed to the speed of the game, being out after that amount of time. I don't think it will take long, but once he gets rolling, that's another threat that the Grizzlies have in their lineup.
And yes, Tarun Fizer will be in there. He practiced yesterday, and he's going to be in the Grizzlies lineup tonight, which is amazing considering he took the skate to the face on Saturday. We saw a similar, although it was a different part of the face with the Winnipeg Jet player yesterday, but it's just outstanding to see him out there. And he's certainly going to need to play big for the Grizzlies. He had 27 goals, which was ranked second on the team.
It's just unbelievable, Tyson. It brings a smile to my face to see that Tarun Fizer is in the lineup. He didn't even miss a single game. That's just incredible. Just seeing that during that game against Tulsa on Saturday night, it was shocking. And so the fact that he's able to go back out there and suit up for game one is just great. And I think the Grizzlies are going to need him in their run to the Kelly Cup. And I'm going to go with Tarun Fizer for the optimum first goal of the game. I think he's got that worry in him. He's got that dog in him. I think he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to get the first goal of the game.
Fizer had 15 points in 18 playoff games with Utah last year, 4 goals and 11 assists. That's certainly a good pick. I think for me, I'm going to go with Luke Martin. I think he's going to score from the slot. Remember, he had that game-tying goal on April 5th in Boise a couple weeks ago. He looked good against the Steelheads last year. He looked pretty good in the 3-game set against Idaho a couple weeks ago. I got Luke Martin as my pick for the optimum first goal of the game. And really, when you talk about reasons as to why the Grizzlies have confidence, and some of it's quiet confidence, but there's even a little bit of outwardly confident that there's a lot of confidence that the Grizzlies can not only skate with Idaho, but they think they've got a puncher's chance in this series. And I think having Luke Martin in the lineup certainly a big factor and really a big reason as to why.
I agree. I really think that this Grizzlies defense has really just gotten more solid as the season's gone on. You got James Shearer and Connor McDonald always providing great work, but you add Luke Martin, Kyle Mayhew to that group. Aaron Tho was picked up in that trade with Norfolk. You got a bunch of gamers on the blue line, really. A lot of solid options. A few guys that'll cheat up offensively, and Tho, Mayhew, and Martin. This defense core has it all, so I really like the way that it's shaping up heading into the postseason.
When we come back in 2 minutes, we'll go over the Grizzlies' postseason roster, and we'll also go over the roster of the Idaho Steelheads, who won the most games in the regular season in league history. We'll come back in 2 minutes and give you the roster for both teams. Game 1 of the Western Conference best-of-7 series will start at about 7:10 as we're hanging out in the lobby at Maverick Center. There should be a watch party. If you're in the West Valley area, I think there's going to be a watch party over in the Salt Lake room here at Maverick Center, so you can watch the Grizzlies in action here at Maverick Center for Game 1 of the best-of-7 series that's going to be played over at Idaho Central Arena. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. There are 24 players on the Grizzlies postseason roster. 13 forwards, 8 defensemen, and 3 goaltenders. The forwards in alphabetical order by their last name: Kyle Betts, along with Brandon Cutler. Dylan Fitz is in there, the Grizzlies Iron Man. He was one of 2 players to appear in all 72 regular season games. Yes, Tarun Fizer is on the playoff roster, and he's in the lineup tonight. He'll be wearing number 8. Keaton Jamison played in 71 of 72 regular season games, and he had 15 goals for the Grizzlies this year. The Rooster, Jordan Martell, was the league's player of the week for April 10th through 16th. The Roosters got a point in 10 straight games. Mick Messner is a scratch tonight, but he's on the playoff roster. Tyler Penner has appeared in every regular season and playoff game since he started the 2021-22 season, and Penner will be in there tonight for the Grizzlies. It's good to have Dakota Raabe back in the Grizzlies lineup for the first time since March 19th. He had a point in 4 straight games heading into the before he got injured in Allen late in the first period. Nolan Ritchie will be in there. He had a 5-year career with the Brandon Wheat Kings and averaged exactly 1 point a game, and he's been somebody that has been very impressive. I know somebody that Ryan Kanaswich and the assistant coach Jared Pike really have a lot of faith in. Zach Sekos might be a week away, but Sekos is on the playoff roster. He won't be in there tonight. The Grizzlies do get back Johnny Walker as he's making his first appearance since March 29th. And Cameron Wright, who led the Grizzlies in goals with 29 this season, and he also led the club with 63 points. Wright was outstanding for the Grizzlies this year. He won the Team Rookie of the Year award, and Cameron Wright's been outstanding. He's got championship experience back in 2022 at the University of Denver, where him and Kyle Mayhew won a national championship. So, Guy, 13 forwards, once again, Betts, Cutler, and Fitz, along with Fizer, Jamison, Martell. Mick Messner's out of the lineup, but he's on the roster. Tyler Penner, along with Raabe, Ritchie, Sekos, and Walker and Wright. Certainly a dangerous lineup, and I think the forward line for the Grizzlies is about as strong as it's been all year.
I couldn't agree more. I really think that this is the best the Grizzlies roster has looked at any point this season. I mean, just look at the depth. I mean, there's so much depth on this Grizzlies team. I mean, every single guy that is suiting up tonight for the Grizzlies could easily be placed on the top line, maybe even the second line. I mean, there's just so many great options for the Grizzlies in that forward group. I like it a lot.
8 defensemen for the Grizzlies this evening. 6 of them in the lineup tonight. Bryson Martin and Kyle Pouncey are each scratches. We will see Luke Martin in there wearing number 44 as he did last year. Martin, was a key contributor last season in 17 playoff games. He had 2 goals and 10 assists. Kyle Mayhew will be in there for the Grizzlies, and he's gotten a lot of critical shifts for the Grizzlies. I mean, he got some big-time playing time. He was in the overtime shift in Idaho on April 5th, and he also saw some key late third period time on April 8th against Idaho. Mayhew spent 1 day in the AHL, and he missed the Saturday, April 15th game, the final game of the regular season, but Mayhew's back in there. The captain, Connor McDonald's in for Utah, as well as James Shearer, Corey Thomas, and Aaron Tho. Watch out for Tho. He's been outstanding as of late. In fact, Aaron Tho, really talk about the Grizzlies turning things around February 11th. Well, Aaron Tho really turned it around. He's a plus 16 since February 11th.
He's been great. I mean, what a pickup for the Grizzlies. And you just look at all the pickups that they've made throughout the course of the season. I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Kanaswich and Coach Pike for really just scouting out that talent and bringing him to this Grizzlies team. And Aaron Tho is just one on the list of many of great additions for the Grizzlies this season.
3 goaltenders for the Grizzlies. Trent Miner will get the start in net tonight. In 37 games, he had a record of 17, 15, and 3 with 3 shutouts, a 3.04 goals against average, and 910 save percentage. The backup goaltender tonight is Garrett Metcalf, the Salt Lake City native, who went 7-4-1 this season, and Lucas Preek is the third goalie. He's not in the Grizzlies lineup tonight. When we come back, we'll hopefully give you the starting lineup for both teams. We'll also talk about the Idaho Steelheads, a team that had an historically good regular season, and we'll talk about some of the records they set. We'll have face-off over at Idaho Central Arena in about 10 minutes from now, as it's game 1 of the best-of-7 series between the Grizzlies and the Steelheads. This is Utah Grizzlies hockey, presented by Rio Tinto Kennecott.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Maverick Center. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. We don't quite have the starting lineups yet for either team, but we do know Tarun Fizer will be in there for the Grizzlies. He'll be paired up with Nolan Ritchie and Brandon Cutler. Second forward line, I think, is pretty stacked with Cameron Wright, along with Kyle Betts and the Rooster Jordan Martell. Third line forwards are Dakota Raabe, Tyler Penner, and Johnny Walker. And we'll also see Dylan Fitz and Keaton Jamison in there. The first line defensive unit is James Shearer and Luke Martin. The second line is Corey Thomas and Connor McDonald. Third line is Aaron Tho and Kyle Mayhew. Watch out for Mayhew. He's got some scoring potential. He only had 6 goals in 5 years at the University of Denver, but he does have scoring potential. Trent Miner will get the start in net, and his backup is Garrett Metcalf. We're not sure about the starting lineup for the Idaho Steelheads, but they picked up a ton of league awards lately. Everett Sheen was named the ECHO Coach of the Year, and the Idaho Steelheads won the Hockey Operations Department of the Year. I mean, that's usually what happens when you end up with a record of 58, 11, 1, and 2. They broke the league record for the number of wins with 58, breaking the mark that was previously set by the 2001-02 Louisiana Ice Gators, who had 56 wins. Now, Louisiana lost in the second round of the 2002 playoffs. They did not win the championship. So, I think the Grizzlies are thinking, Idaho had that tremendous regular season, but it doesn't always translate to postseason play. The 119 standings points they picked up broke a league record. The 32 home wins the Steelheads had also broke a league record. It was previously set by the Cincinnati Cyclones in the 2018-2019 season, where Cincinnati had 30 home wins. Just earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, Owen Hedrick was named the League Defenseman of the Year. They got 2 guys in the first team All-League, and Matt Register and Owen Hedrick. Goaltender Adam Schill is named League Second Team Second Team All-League, and Remy Poirier and Owen Hedrick were each named to the league's All-Rookie Team. It's a stacked group for the Idaho Steelheads. Their top forward line will be Justin Ducharme along with A.J. White and Wade Murphy. Murphy had a game winner against the Grizzlies on April 7th. That was the second game of the 3-game series a couple weeks ago. Second line forwards are Ryan Domowski, who led the Steelheads with 30 goals this season. Ty Pelton-Bice and Colton Keller will also be in there. Third line forwards, Justin Misiak, the cousin of former Grizzly forward Ryan Misiak, along with Jack Becker and Willie Nerum. You'll also see Jade Miller and Zach Walker. That's the fourth line forwards for the Steelheads. And, Guy, over the years, it seems like the thing the Steelheads have over other teams is it seems like their third line forwards are always a lot better than the other team's third line forwards. It's not necessarily their top forward lines. It's the fact they've got so much depth along their forward lineup. And that's part of what makes them so tough.
It's a deep team, Tyson. I'll give them that. I mean, you don't go around setting records for no reason. I mean, they got a really skilled group. They got a lot of really good guys on their team. Great goaltending. But I think you can say the same thing about the Grizzlies. And that's not a knock on anything Idaho's done this season. But really, I think at this point in the season, you take away everything that you've done in the first part of the season, the regular season, you can just chuck that out a window. Because come playoff time, it doesn't matter. I mean, so kudos to the Idaho Steelheads for all the records that they broke. Great job. Fantastic season. If I'm the Grizzlies, I'm sitting there saying, we do not care. It's playoff time. It's anybody's time. And that just adds fuel to the fire for the Grizzlies. That's extra motivation on top of what the Grizzlies already had. This team looks ready. I think they're ready to go out there and prove that they're going to go toe-to-toe with the best team in the league and that they can come out and win.
After all, you reset all the standings, all the stats here come the first playoff game. Everybody just starts from scratch. The defenseman for Idaho, Matt Register, was a plus 53 this season. He'll be paired up with Dawson Bardo, who was just reassigned from their AHL club, the Texas Stars. Patrick Kubla and Owen Hedrick will be the second defensive pairing. That's right. Hedrick, who is the league's all-defenseman of the year. He is the second. He is on the second line for Idaho. We'll also see Casey Johnson and Cody Heiskanen. Heiskanen was a plus 53 this year, tying with Matt Register for the league lead. The starting goaltender is Adam Shield, who had a record of 8-1 with 5 shutouts, a 1.97 goals against average, and .932 save percentage. His backup tonight is Josh Boyko. Looks like we finally have received the starting lineup for both teams. First for the visiting Utah Grizzlies, who are led by second-year head coach Ryan Kanasowicz. His assistant is Jared Pike, the Sandy, Utah native. The equipment manager is Mason Whalen. The trainer is Colin Lee. And Guy and I are calling the game here from the lobby at Maverick Center, and it should be a lot of fun. Starting in net is Trent Miner, who's got a record of 17, 15, and 3 with 3 shutouts this season and .910 save percentage. The starting defensive pairing, James Shearer, who is a former captain of the Brandon Wheat Kings. Shearer this season had 6 goals and 17 assists in 54 games, and he'll be paired up with Luke Martin, who with 2 different teams in the league had 10 goals and 21 assists. He had 31 points in 31 games and a +5 rating. So starting defensive pairing is Shearer and Martin. Starting forwards, Cameron Wright, the team's leading scorer with 63 points in 64 games. He'll be paired up with the Roosters, got a point in 10 straight games. And we'll also see Kyle Betts, who spent most of the year in the AHL with the Belleville Senators. Betts has 6 assists in 5 games for the Grizzlies this season. Starting in net for Idaho, we mentioned Adam Shield. He had an outstanding year of a second-team All-League. The starting defensive pairing is Matt Register and Dawson Bardo. Starting forwards, Justin Ducharme. Their captain, A.J. White, will be in the starting lineup. He missed a few games towards the end of the regular season. And Wade Murphy, who had 21 goals and 22 assists in 54 games. When we come back in 1 minute, we'll have face-off over at Idaho Central Arena. The Grizzlies wearing the white jerseys with black numbers and professional green trim. Idaho wearing a black jersey with white numbers. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be back in 1 minute for face-off here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Great night for hockey as it's game 1 of the best-of-7 series between the Utah Grizzlies and Idaho Steelheads. Should be a fun one here tonight as the Grizzlies take on the Steelheads for the first of a 7-game series, best-of-7. First 2 games will be in Boise on Wednesday and Friday night. Then the scene shifts to Maverick Center, and the Grizzlies will host the Steelheads for Game 3 next Wednesday. Friday, April 28th, will be Game 4, and if necessary, assuming the series doesn't end in a sweep, Game 5 will be on Saturday, and tickets will go on sale as soon as we know there's going to be a Game 5 in this series. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. We got an outstanding goaltending matchup with Trent Miner taking on Adam Scheel. And Guy, Trent Miner with a big-time 31-save shutout as the Grizzlies defeated Tulsa 5-0 on April 15th, and he's going to need to come up big for the Grizzlies. He has had some success against Idaho in the past, and he's going to need to do so here tonight.
I think the biggest thing that Trent Miner brings to his game is that experience. This is a guy that's had a few years under his belt with the Grizzlies. He's a draft pick of the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, he's got a high pedigree. I mean, he's been elite this season, and he's going to have to be just that in the playoffs for the Grizzlies. Look at the opposition in goal, Adam Scheel. I mean, he's had a heck of a season too. So, I mean, it's going to be a goaltending duel. I think it's going to be relatively low scoring throughout the course of this series. I think whoever has the better goalie is the team that's going to win this series. And right now, I'm comfortable riding with Trent Miner.
I do think getting Dakota, Raabe, and Johnny Walker back is certainly going to be big for the Grizzlies. Raabe for his speed and playmaking ability. And if the Grizzlies do get on the power play, watch out for Johnny Walker out in front of the net. He is Utah's best net front forward. Those two could certainly be big.
I'm so glad to see those guys back in the lineup, Tyson. These are two game-changing players. And you think about potential X factors for the Grizzlies in this series. Look at those guys. I mean, Jordan Martell is on a tear. Dakota Raabe bringing back into the lineup. He brings a ton of speed to his game, got a wicked shot. And then you're right, that net front presence with Johnny Walker. You add that to the power play, which was already starting to heat up against Tulsa. You add that to that one of those units. Oh, man, I think that's going to all come together quite nicely. And I think the Grizzlies are going to go on a roll.
Last year, the Grizzlies didn't have much playoff experience going into their Western Conference final run. This season, 15 of the 24 players on Utah's postseason roster have played in at least one postseason game as a pro, and that does include Tarun Fizer, who's got 15 points in 18 games, all with Utah last season. Zach Sekos might return next week. He's on the playoff roster, but also watch out for Dylan Fitz. Last season, he scored some big goals for the Grizzlies in the playoffs, most of them coming in the third period. I would watch out for Dylan Fitz and Keaton Jamison. They may be looked at as role players, and they might not see a ton of time, but I could see both those guys playing a role and a key factor in this game.
Well, that's the thing is when you think about Dylan Fitz and Keaton Jamison, you don't necessarily think of them as third or fourth line guys. I mean, Dylan Fitz was on the top line for some time this year. Keaton Jamison on that second line was even called out to play on the first line on some occasions. So, I mean, these are guys that can play. And so I think that those are guys that to what you really want to do, watch out for because they can make an impact at any given moment.
Looks like we're about set for live action. Adam Scheel is in net for Idaho and Trent Miner for the Grizzlies. Scheel, a Lakewood, Ohio native, while Trent Miner is a native of Brandon, over in Canada, in Manitoba. As the draw goes into the Grizzly zone, Utah skating from left to right as we begun the 2023 Kelly Cup playoff run. As James Scher behind Utah's net, Grizzlies from left to right, Idaho from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. Your mind's eye seat on YouTube as right lifts it out to center ice. Idaho will tap it off the near boards. It goes to Luke Martin. Martin feeds it to the left side near center ice. Pass is picked off by Domowski. He'll skate towards the right circle. Take a backhand shot. Saved by Miner. That's the first shot on either side. 35 seconds in. As Dawson Bardo, right wing, righty shot. Saved by Miner. And Trent holds on already. 39 seconds in. Two shots by the Steelheads. One by Domowski and the other by Dawson Bardo. As Trent Miner settles in there, as he gets a swig of water as we're underway over at Idaho Central Arena. Still had sold out just about every game during the regular season. Grizzlies averaged about 5,335 fans per game. Nolan Ritchie will take the draw. It's his first playoff action. He played for the Brandon Wheat Kings for 4 full seasons. He wins the draw. Actually, the puck kind of stayed at the circle. Now Utah gets it as Brandon Cutler lifts it in the air as Utah chases after it. It is Tarun Fizer on the ice. The puck rolls towards Adam Scheel. Will feed it to the far side. Fizer gets it in his college-style mask. He'll throw it to throw on the high slot. His shot is blocked. Now Domowski skates down the middle. Good poke check by Fizer as Domowski throws to the right point. Now across to Kudla. Kudla left wing, lefty shot. And it's blocked out in front of Miner. Grizzlies will start the attack. As Grizz cross center ice, Kyle Mayhew gains the line. He'll skate towards the right circle. Now he stops in the corner. Mayhew overskates it. Kudla in the area. Mayhew tries to get it back. He gets blasted by Ty Pelton-Bice, number 17. As Grizzlies near the corner, throw it back in as action deep in the Steelhead zone. Now Idaho clears it out. Corey Thomas collides with a Steelhead. Dakota Raabe chasing after it, and it's good to see him back. First game since March 19th in Allen. Raabe gains the line to the left side. He'll dump it to the corner. Johnny Walker chasing after it. Walker playing for the first time since March 29th. Action towards the near side. Idaho lifts it in the air at center ice as Jamison has a bounce off his stick. Raabe backhands it into the Steelhead zone as it's taken by Cody Haskinen, number 74. He was a plus 53 this season. Haskinen feeds it to the far side as the Steelheads will carry it out of their zone. They cross center ice and dump it in as Miner behind his net plays it. 2 minutes in, he'll throw it towards the far side. Idaho cuts it off, right point, righty shot. And it goes over Miner's head, stays in play along the near side as Utah will bounce it off the Steelhead. It stays in the Grizzlies zone. It goes around the net. Corey Thomas gets it. Thomas skates towards the far side. He'll chip it ahead to Tyler Penner, the Grizzlies Iron Man, as Utah dumps it in. Shield behind his net will feed it to the near side. As Idaho lifts over the head of Cameron Wright, it goes to Luke Martin at the Utah blue line. He'll throw it across to Shearer, who gets it to center ice for Wright, who dumps it in from the left side. Is poked away by Idaho, back to neutral ice. Grizzlies will fire it off the near wing boards as Betts gets it. He'll throw it back to Shearer in the Grizzlies zone. Shearer slides it across to Martin on the near side. Luke Martin, who played for Jacksonville, is an all-star in the league this year. He'll move it ahead to the Rooster. Martell, left wing shot, and he fanned on it. Martell gets it back behind Idaho's net. He'll slide it towards the near side, and it goes back to Idaho. We'll carry it out to center ice, but Ducharme got hit by Betts. Now it goes back to the Rooster on the far side. He'll dump it in. As we're 3 minutes in, still no score. Here in game one of the best-of-7 series. Best rivalry in the league as Martell throws ahead to Betts, who gets blasted by Matt Register. Idaho steps over the offensive line. Right wing righty shot goes high as it goes towards the near boards. Martell feeds it across to Shearer. Shearer with an A on his sweater gains center ice, and he'll dump it in. As the puck goes back towards A.J. White, he'll throw it towards his goal line. Now the Steelheads chipping out to center ice. Chasing after it is Kyle Mayhew. No icing as Mayhew gets it. He blows a tire. Idaho to the left side. Wade Murphy skates towards his right. He'll take a righty shot. On it bounces off a Grizzly and flies out of play. 16:26 left to go in the first period. As Wade Murphy says, my bad. And it looks like the draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Scratches for both teams. For the Grizzlies, Lucas Parikh, Zach Sekos, Bryson Martin, Kyle Pouncey, and Mick Messner. For Idaho, Jonas Vandenbergs, along with Jordan Kawaguchi, Zane Franklin, and Demetrius Kumansis. And not having Kawaguchi is certainly big for Idaho, as he is the Steelheads' leading goal scorer. He had 52 points in 58 games. He wasn't their leading scorer, but he certainly was a key contributor. As Idaho wins the draw, they skate from right to left here in the period. They center, and it's picked off by Tarun Fizer. Fizer skates to neutral, so move it ahead to Cutler. Cutler gets in the left circle, and he looks to center it out in front. Shot saved by Shield. Grizzlies hacking away. Now Idaho gets it. Steelheads cross center ice. A.J. White gains the line as he'll veer off to the left as he'll drop it off. Now right circle, righty shot goes high as they're trying to go glove side on Miner as Cudla feeds it towards A.J. White, who bounces it off at Nolan Ritchie. Ritchie gets it wearing number 11. He'll move a right wing pass to Fizer, loses it. White will bounce it off of Fizer. White gets it back at center ice. He'll dump it in. As chasing after, it's Kyle Mayhew as both teams make a line change. Mayhew slides out to center ice. Now it goes back towards Mayhew. Grizzlies chip it out right wing pass to Jamison. Did he get a piece of it? They say yes. As the action deep in the Steelhead zone, Idaho skates around their own net. Now they get to center ice, and Idaho dumps it in. As Grizzlies chase after it, that's the captain, Connor McDonald. He gets hit by Colton Keller. Now right wing, Idaho righty shot. Got redirected and rolls towards Miner, who makes the save. With 15:20 left in the first. Guy, what have you seen so far?
Well, Tyson, I mean, both teams have great goaltenders. We know how good Miner is, but so do the Idaho Steelheads. Grizzlies need to find a way to clear the crease and make sure that Miner's able to stop everything that comes towards him. Same thing can be said about Adam Shield. If the Grizzlies can crowd the crease, get a deflection out in front, that's how you beat a good goalie in Adam Shield.
15:20 left in the first. Still no score. We're just underway, so sit back and pull up a beverage of your choice and some chips and dip and enjoy a little bit of Wednesday with us. Grizzlies have the puck as it goes to the far side. Now Keller gets pushed out to center ice. Grizzlies move it ahead to Walker wearing number 7. He gets on 2 knees, trying to drop it off for Raabe. Idaho takes it away. Blue line to blue line pass goes to the former Steelhead Corey Thomas as a Grizzly gets blasted at the Utah blue line as Raabe carries it across center ice. Raabe had some success against Idaho in the past, including a hat trick on April 15th of 2022. He'll dump it in. Now Jamison has to go between his legs as Jack Becker, number 27, will move it ahead to Casey Johnson, who lifts out to center ice. It ricochets off the far boards. Rooster battling. Keller gets there, and he'll dump it in as it hits off the left corner on 2 hops of the ice. As the Grizzlies bouncing off of Idaho, it stays in play as Ducharme skates towards the left circle. He gets challenged by 3 Grizzlies. Martin over there hits Ducharme. Now goes back over to Luke Martin, the near side. He'll move it ahead to right, who slides it across towards neutral ice. Idaho ricocheted off the near boards. Becker tried to dump it in. It stays at the Utah blue line. Now another Steelhead will fire it to the near corner where it's taken by Martin. Will chip it ahead. Pass behind Kyle Betts. His right chases after it. Bardo will slide it back to center ice. And it goes deep in the Grizzlies zone. Rolls towards Miner, who throws a near wing pass to Mayhew. Who move it ahead to center ice. Grizzlies get around a defender. And that's Kyle Betts, who dumps it in from just outside the Idaho blue line. Still heads to the near side, throw it across the center ice. It's picked off by Utah's Kyle Mayhew, gets it back to Martin. Martin and Mayhew out there as Martin will bounce it out to center ice looking for Richie. He gets cut off by number 43, Matt Register, who was first team all-league. As Grizzlies skate around Idaho's net, we get a whistle. 13:38 left in the first. Cameron Wright talking things over. As there's a timeout on the ice, no score from Idaho Central Arena. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Looks like Cameron Wright is in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell, and Idaho will be on the power play for the first time tonight. Steelheads were a top 5 power play unit this season at 22.2%. Grizzlies penalty kill 79.7%. We'll let you know what rule Cameron Wright broke when we figure it out. As Register throws to Ducharme on the left side, he'll take a lefty shot. Glove saved by Miner. And Trent holds on as we're 10 seconds into Idaho's first power play of the series. Special teams going to have to come up big for the Grizzlies, as Idaho's been an outstanding special teams unit this season. As Idaho ranked 6 on the power play, but they finished the year 0 for 18 over their last 7 games. So the power play has been a little bit rough for Idaho as of late. Draw in the left circle was won by Utah. They try to clear it out. Now they get to Penner, who clears it out as a Grizzly player got tripped up. No call. As 140 is left in the power plays, Matt Register gets it. Register, a possible future Hall of Famer in this league. Still dumping off as Idaho gets neutralized across center. As Ducharme with good speed centers it. Righty shot. And Wade Murphy swings and misses. Jamison will bounce over to the right side. Idaho gets it. Now Register. High slot. Lefty shot's blocked as Grizzlies chase after it. Penner gets it center ice. He'll fire it towards Shield. Goes over his head and stays in play. 1:10 left in the power play as Matt Register glides towards the near side. He's still in his own zone. As Steelhead skate from right to left in this first period. He'll throw it across. Idaho chips into Grizzlies territory. Now they gain the blue line and wrap it around the boards as it goes to Pelton Bice over to the high slot for Hedrick. Now to the right side. Now back up top for Hedrick. Hedrick, the top defenseman in the league, fires a shot saved by Miner. And the Grizzlies do an outstanding job boxing out Colton Keller and company as the whistle blows with 48 seconds left in the power play. As the shot was taken by Miner, there's a rebound. Domowski was out in front. Good job by James Shearer, Tarun Fizer, and Luke Martin protecting Trent Miner. As Domowski was looking for that rebound, he just couldn't get a good shot off of Trent Miner, as he didn't have much of an angle. Colton Keller's been one of those guys. He's been an unsung hero for Idaho. He's got 14 goals in 51 games, but he plays a good all-around style of hockey. It looks like Trent Miner has skated back to the bench to work on some equipment, as the Steelheads have the Grizzlies on their heels a little bit. And then Miner tripped up an Idaho skater, and that was Willie Nerum. Referee was right there, but he didn't make a call. That was earlier on, as they show a replay as Miner gets some repairs, and he's back in net as a draw won by the Grizzlies. As getting it to Tarun Fizer will clear it out. So the Grizzlies will make a line change as Shield to the far side of his net will drop it off for Patrick Cudlow, who was a top defenseman this year. Cudlow gets to neutralize. 34 seconds left in the power plays. He'll drop it off as Idaho crosses center ice. And now they'll skate towards the left side. Domowski gets poked away towards Corey Thomas. It goes back to Bice, who feeds up top for Kudla. He's in the high slot. Kudla takes a lefty shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound out in front. And Trent holds on. Once again, good job by the Grizzlies defensive unit to box out Miner and not letting Ty Pelton Bice and Ryan Domowski get that second look, as there's 17 seconds left in the power play. Still no score.
Yeah, Tyson, you're right. The Grizzlies defense holding strong at the top of the blue paint, not letting guys hack away at the puck on the doorstep at the top of the crease. The Grizzlies are also doing a great job of blocking shots. And it's not a stat that's tracked in this league, but the Grizzlies are doing a great job of getting in front of pucks.
Idaho has outshot Utah 8-2 so far. 11:55 left in the first. Ty Pelton Bice will take the draw for Idaho here in game one of the best-of-7 series. Draw won by Utah's Connor McDonald skates behind Miner's net, and he'll drift it towards the near side. Kudla keeps it in. He'll throw it to his right for Hedrick. Now to the right side for Domowski. Back up top for Hedrick. He'll throw it to the right side. Now over to Hedrick. Hedrick to the right point. We'll feed it to the goal line. Now back to Pelton Bice. He'll take a lefty shot. Glove saved by Miner. Trent holds on. 11:35 left in the first, as it's a Utah disaster cleanup successful penalty kill as Cameron Wright comes out of the penalty box. Good job by the Grizzlies penalty kill unit. Idaho did have some good looks from up top, but the defensive unit in front of Trent Miner did a good job. And even though it looks like early on Miner's allowed a couple rebounds, it's still scoreless, as Idaho has outshot Utah 9-2. As it draws over in the far circle, we're back to skating 5-on-5. As Jack Becker will take the draw against, I think that's Kyle Betts. Betts out there along with Cameron Wright and the Rooster, Jordan Martell. Martell's the reigning league player of the week, as he had 1 goal and 7 assists in 3 games against Tulsa. Draw won by the Grizzlies. The Rooster carries it out to neutral ice, and he'll lift it in. Chasing after it's Cameron Wright, but it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies, as Martell didn't gain center ice before dumping it in. He was kind of hoping that Cameron Wright will skate around an Idaho defender, but Idaho got back defensively. Draw is going to be back towards Trent Miner.
Well, you mentioned how great of a stretch Jordan Martell was on entering the postseason. I really feel like he's that X factor for the Grizzlies in this series. If he can continue to produce at the rate that he was to end the regular season, I think the Grizzlies are in good shape.
Draws going to be on the far side. 11:28 left in the first. Still no score. As Betts takes the face off, and he wins it as though. Moves ahead towards Kyle Mayhew. Now the Grizzlies dump it in. It looks like it's going to be icing on Utah once again with 11:19 left in the first. And Idaho looking for that game's first goal. It's kind of interesting when you think about the Grizzlies' playoff run last year. Utah won game 1 in all 3 series. They won game 1 in the first round series against Tulsa. They won the first 3 games against the Rapid City Rush in the Mountain Division Finals. And then in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, Charles Edward Dastu scored the game winner in overtime. And even though the Grizzlies don't have Dastu and Ben Tardif this season, other guys are going to have to step up the way those two did, which both guys had a legendary playoff run. Idaho wins the draw. Casey Johnson, left point shot goes wide. As the puck goes towards Cameron Wright, he'll move it ahead. As Grizzlies gain center ice, 2-on-2. Utah gains the line, drops off for Martell. As they throw it towards Tho, gets pushed along the near corner by Zach Walker. Now Tho gets it on the right side. He'll move it up top for Martell. Take a righty shot that goes wide. It bounced off the side of the net. Betts gets it. Betts skates towards the left point, as now he'll skate towards his right. Betts keeps the line with good speed. He'll skate towards the right circle, take a shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Idaho. It's the Steelheads. We're moving out to center ice as Johnson dumps it in, as he chases after it in the corner, as he collides with Aaron Tho, as both guys have a rough ride towards the corner. As Jade Miller gets pushed by Betts. Miller slides it up top for Hedrick. Now to the right side. Righty shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound goes out to the far side. As Becker rolls it back around. As Kyle Mayhew throws it to the near side. It's taken by Cameron Wright. Wright will gain center ice, and he'll backhand it in. It's picked up by Idaho in their zone. They'll toss it to the far side as the Steelheads gain the blue line. They'll drop it off. Right point. Lefty shot goes high and off the protective netting and out of play as we get a whistle with 10:05 left in the first. Seems like the Grizzlies are trying to kind of look at that stretch game offensively to get it out of their zone, but they just haven't quite connected yet.
Yeah, it seems like that's what the Grizzlies are trying to aim for. And remember, it was the transition game that was big in that last game, the most recent meeting between these two at Maverick Center. It was all about that transition game. Whoever can move from defense to offense the quickest would get those breakouts on the rush. So I think that's what the Grizzlies are looking for as well.
Grizzlies win the draws. They'll throw it towards the near side. It goes to the left point. Matt Register keeps it in the attack zone. He'll throw it to the right circle. Lefty shot saved by Miner. That shot was taken by Ducharme. as the Grizzlies will carry it out to center ice. Keaton Jamison crossed the red line. Now they go in, but the Eagle Eye linesman says the Grizzlies are offside as Dakota Raabe was trying to enter. 9:47 left in the first, no score. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Mavericks' new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Welcome back to Maverick Center. No score. Idaho has outshot Utah 11-3. Idaho had one power play as Cameron Wright got 2 minutes for holding. Time of penalty, 6:22 in. For Utah, in terms of their 3 shots, 1 shot for Brandon Cutler, Kyle Betts, and Nolan Ritchie. For Idaho, Dawson Bardo leads the way with 3 shots. Justin Ducharme and Ryan Domowski each have 2 shots. And even though Idaho's got a big edge in the shot count, looks like Trent Miner has been busy, but he's played well here early on.
Yeah, he has. And remember, Idaho did have that 1 power play. And if you're wondering, it was Cameron Wright getting 2 minutes for holding. And that's the only penalty of the game. So you got to think some of Idaho's shots came on that power play. But Trent Miner's been great so far to start.
Draw at neutral ice is won by the Grizzlies after Utah was called for offside before the break as Connor McDonald drives it in, the Grizzlies captain. As puck towards the far side, Johnny Walker gets it. The Arizona State product gets held up, and he loses the puck as Idaho moves out to center ice. Now Idaho will take it away from Raabe as they skate towards the left circle. Murphy throws it across. Great defensive play by Keaton Jamison diving in the slot to poke it back to the corner. As Thomas skates back to the corner, over to Jamison, back to Thomas, who moves ahead to Raabe, who's got outstanding speed. He'll gain center ice and dump it in, and he'll come off the ice after a change. 9:11 and counting left in the first, still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 11-3. As Bardo, who's got 3 shots so far, he was just reassigned from the AHL, moving out to the far side. Pelton Bice gets, he'll skate towards the right circle. Good poke check by the Grizzlies. Sure moves ahead to Martell. Now to Penner, the Grizzlies Iron Man. He'll skate to the left side, look to center to Fitz, and it bounced off of Owen Hedrick as it goes back to the far corner as Penner battles with Hedrick. Now it goes to Idaho in the far circle. They're carried out of the zone. Left wing pass to Domowski. He gets it and he'll dump it in. As chasing after it's Utah as Jamison gets over to Penner, who trying to get to Fitz. Fitz at the Utah blue line gets held up. Now it goes to Idaho at center ice. They'll slide it across to Cudlip. Now head to Pelton Bice in the left wing. Bice will skate towards the corner and he gets hit by Martin. Puck goes back to the right side and out of the zone. As Hedrick over to Cudlip back to the Idaho blue line. Still had skating from right to left as they gained the line. As Niram gets taken away by Fizer. Grizzlies skating from left to right. They cross center ice. They'll throw it towards the slot for Fizer. He'll skate towards the left circle. They go righty shot that's blocked, and the puck goes back over. Fizer around the net. Now Nolan Ritchie gets it. Ritchie wearing number 11. Back towards Fizer. Feeds it to the right corner. Cutler skates over there. He collides with Patrick Cudla. The 2 Grizzlies, 2 Steelheads over there. Idaho comes out of the scrum with the puck. They'll carry it out to center ice. Steelheads trying to get it back towards Misiak. He couldn't reach it. Grizzlies skate back in. Utah skates towards the right circle, and Cutler gets dragged down by Casey Johnson as the Steelheads wearing the black jerseys with white numbers, loses at center ice as Ritchie throws it back to Tho. Now Mayhew moves ahead looking for Martell, bounced off the Steelhead and rolls towards the Idaho goal line. Now it's taken back by Casey Johnson. Steelheads around center ice will dump it in. As chasing after, it's Luke Martin deep in the Grizzly zone. He gets his. He gets poked away by Misiak. And taking over is James Shearer, who slides it ahead to Martell, who couldn't reach it. Grizzlies chase deep in the Idaho zone. No icing as the Grizzlies chip it towards Betts, who gets cut off as he was looking for a one-timer on the left side. As Idaho will lift it off the screen as we're doing a remote broadcast here. As Idaho skates to the right side. Ducharme backhand shot. Saved by Miner. He holds on with 7:01 left in the first. Looks like Idaho's been pretty quick in the transition game, and the Grizzlies almost looks like the transition game is going to be how they're going to get one here early on as well.
I agree, Tyson. Really great save by Trent Miner to really deny that chance as the Steelheads kind of caught the Grizzlies napping in the neutral zone. And then on the breakaway, Trent Miner is able to make that save, and he really has settled into this game, really has played great. And that's the key for the Grizzlies. If you can get Trent Miner hot, you can go far in the playoffs.
7:01 left in the first period, still no score. As draw won by the Grizzlies. Luke Martin skates around his own net. He'll slide it over to Martell. Now back to Shearer, over to Martin. Deep in the Grizzly zone as Martin moves over to Martell, who glides it out to center ice for Cameron Wright, who dumps it in as rolls towards Adam Scheel. He'll slide it to the near side as Register will bounce it out to center. It goes back to Scheer, who slides it to Martin in the near side. Martin with an outlet pass towards Wright, and it goes past him. No icing as Wright battles in the corner. He takes it away from Register. He'll feed it to the left side as Grizzlies slide it across. Walker, right side shot, and it bounced off the Steelhead and goes off the protective netting. And Matt Register and Cameron Wright exchange some words as Jamison and Johnny Walker skate over to survey the scene. Walker sporting a playoff mustache and looked like Register was upset at Cameron Wright. As Register talking with the hometown linesman, Scott DeBaugh and Jared Thomas. The draw is going to be in the Steelhead zone. Walker with a good look there. I think it bounced off his shield, and then Cameron Wright skated towards Zach Walker, and Register just held up his stick and said, "Hey, big guy, don't go after him. You're going after me instead." As Wright already has one penalty in tonight's game, as we're skating 5-on-5. About 7 minutes left in the first period. Draw won by the Grizzlies. Actually, there's 6.5 minutes left in the first period as Idaho will gain center ice, but we get a whistle as something must have happened away from the play. It's Colton Keller and Johnny Walker exchanging some words. It looks like Keller's the one going to the penalty box as Walker's going to skate towards the bench. Keller can't believe it, but Utah might get their first power play of the game as Colton Keller and Johnny Walker exchange some words. Keller, the native of British Columbia, is going to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. We didn't get to see the signal from the referee, but he broke a hockey rule from away from the screen, and Utah will be on the power play for the first time tonight. Utah is 8 for 15 on the power play recently in the 3-game series. As I think we're back to live action. No, we're not in live action. Keller and Walker exchange some words. There's the replay. We see one nudge from Walker. Whatever Keller did must have been away from the screen. As a draw won by the Grizzlies. As era is Cutler. Throws to the left side. Bounces off of Fizer's stick, and Idaho gets it and clears it out. Miner with an outlet pass to Cutler around the net for Kyle Mayhew. As Mayhew skates down the middle, less than 6 minutes left in the first period. Utah on the power plays. Mayhew gains center ice. He'll skate down the middle. He gets around to Steelhead, but loses the puck as Bardo skates around Idaho's net. He'll chip it towards the far side. Now it's taken back by Cutler. Fakes a shot. He gets spun around. No call as Idaho will carry it out to neutral ice. Steelheads will chip it from one blue line to the other as it goes to Fizer, who skates towards the near side. Now he'll tap it over to the left side. Grizzlies enter. Grizzlies in the left point. Still no score as he'll chip it across to Martell on the right side. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by Scheel. And he holds on as we get a whistle with 1:07 left in the power play and 5:27 left in the first. Good action by the Grizzlies as they're trying to break the deadlock.
That's a good look for Jordan Martell right there. That's his favorite place to shoot, at the top of the circle. But you're going to need something better than that to beat a guy like Adam Scheel. Although I like what the Grizzlies are cooking here on the power play. Let's see if they can get one in before the time expires on that.
Seems like the power play has been hot as of late. We mentioned there were 8 for 15 against Tulsa in the 3-game series. Utah ended the year an even 19% on the power play. Idaho's penalty kill's been elite all year at 84.1%. Kyle Betts will take the draw. He's got Dylan Fitz and Cameron Wright up front. Back end is Luke Martin and somebody off the screen. As Idaho wins the face-off, and they'll clear it out to center ice. It's taken by Utah. As I think that's the Rooster. He'll drop it back as Martin was skating the other way. So it goes to Trent Miner. As Grizzlies set things up, as Martin skates towards the far side. And so nudge it across to Cameron Wright, who gets to center ice. Wright feeds it across to the left. Grizzlies enter. They get to the Rooster at the far goal line. He'll chip it up top for Martin. Martin skates towards his right. Now he gets to the right. Back to Martin. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by Scheel. Rebound shot. And Scheel's covered up. Well, Luke Martin was my pick for the opt-in first goal of the game on something that looked similar to that. Similar to what he scored the game-tying goal against Idaho on April 5th. Martin's got that scoring ability out in front. Grizzlies were trying to redirect it, but Shield covered up. 4:55 left in the first, 35 seconds left in the power play. Kyle Betts will take the draw. Looks like the same 5-man unit for the Grizzlies. As a draw won by Utah. As Martin over to right in the right side. He'll tap it towards the slot. As ricochets off an Idaho stick, they gather it and clear it out. Miner behind his net gets it. As he'll give it over to Luke Martin, who skates around Utah's net. Martin had 12 points in 17 playoff games for the Grizzlies last year. He'll throw it to his right for Martell, who gains center ice. Now Martell skates over the blue line. He loses it in the circle as Fitz over towards Wright. Wright battles with A.J. White. As Wright Fitz skates over to the right corner. He'll nudge it to the left side for Martell near the boards. Martell over to Betts, back to Martell. Now up top for Martin, back to Martell. A fake to one-timer. Now take a wrist shot, and it's blocked as Idaho will carry it out of the zone. They cross center ice. Keller skates towards the left circle. Take a righty shot. Saved by Miner. Keller gets hit by Kyle Betts, and it goes to Martin, who slides over to the Rooster. Martell bounced it off a Steelhead as Pelton Bice skates around Utah's net. He gets to the right side. Power plays over for the Grizzlies. Both teams 0 for 1 in the man advantage. Grizzlies will lift it out to center ice. It goes back to Idaho. They'll chip it ahead as Domowski has a glance off his stick. Now it goes to Misiak, who dumps it in. He chases after it. He's got good speed. He collides with Connor McDonald, and the captain gets to the near side for Walker. Walker fanned on the pass and goes back to Utah's Corey Thomas. Now over to Walker on the near side. Walker chips it across as Utah taking their time. They want to be patient, but they also want to be aggressive at the same time. As Connor McDonald behind Utah's net with Misiak nearby. McDonald slides it to the far side. It goes to center ice. Rink wide pass to Raabe. Raabe loses it as he was entering the zone. Idaho comes back up with it. Misiak couldn't reach it. McDonald chases after it as he gets it in the near corner deep in Utah's zone. They'll slide it across. The Grizzlies spreading the ice. They'll get it out to center. Nobody's home, and it looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies with 3:05 left in the first. Kind of an interesting game plan for the Grizzlies offensively. A lot of stretch passes out of their own zone. It just seems like they're missing by that much.
Yeah, I think if they can continue to crack at it, I think they might get something going there. But really what this looks like to me is two teams that don't want to make that first mistake, because whoever does make that mistake is likely going to have the puck in the back of their net. So a bit of caution on both sides. Let's see if the Grizzlies become a little bit more aggressive here.
Grizzlies win the draw in their own zone as McDonald chips over to Walker. Now goes to Penner. Left wing pass is wide of the mark as Penner chases after it, as does Dakota Raabe. Penner gets there on the right side. He'll get it to Walker. Right wing shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes out to Penner. Right wing. Sharp angled shot, and it hits the side of the net. Raabe gets double teamed, and he gets dragged as Idaho gets the puck. Steelheads will bounce off the near glass. Luke Martin will chip it in as it goes over the head of Ty Pelton Bice. And it goes to Patrick Kudla. 2.5 minutes left in the first, still no score. Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 13-6. Idaho steps over the line. Right wing shot by Kudla goes wide as the puck goes back to the near corner. As Utah chases after it, Idaho looked to center. It glanced off a Shearer stick and goes out to neutral ice. Cody Haskinen chases after it deep in the Steelhead zone. As Haskinen gets challenged, he'll drop it off for Becker. Jack Becker, number 27, who played at Michigan and Arizona State in college. He was a teammate of a couple former Grizzlies in college, both Raabe and Johnny Walker, as well as Luke Martin. Battle along the end boards of Idaho's zone. He still had ship over the head of Luke Martin. It goes to center ice. It stays in play. As Shearer gets along the near side, he'll skate around Trent Miner's net. Miner's been perfect so far, 13 for 13. As Shearer gains center ice, left wing. He'll drop it off as the Grizzlies enter. Ritchie spins it along the boards, goes to the right corner. There's a broken stick laying. As Idaho clears it out to center, it goes past Luke Martin. Chasing after it's Jade Miller. As looks like the whistle blows as Idaho's called for icing. As it still has doubled up the Grizzlies in the shot count, 14-7, but we remain scoreless.
Well, I think for the key for the Grizzlies right now, Tyson, is just to start winning faceoffs. And in this last under 2 minutes here in this first period, I'd like to see the Grizzlies be a little bit more aggressive, be a little bit more physical, and kind of just show the Steelheads that, hey, we're not going to go away. Even if we're tied heading into the first intermission, we're here to play. So I'd like the Grizzlies to be a little bit more aggressive here.
Draw's going to be at center ice as they called icing, but it seems like the referee and the two referees and two linesmen said, yeah, probably shouldn't have been called. The winner of this series will face the winner of Allen and Kansas City after 2 periods in game 1 of that set. Allen leads Kansas City 3-2. That game at Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence, Missouri. Idaho wins the draw. They skate from right to left as Casey Johnson nudges ahead and Jade Miller dumps it in. Miller scored some big goals against the Grizzlies this year. Miller takes it away. He'll skate down the middle. He gets tripped up in the slot. Grizzlies get it. No call on the play as Kyle Betts skates to neutral ice. Now he stops at the Utah blue line. And he'll throw it across as Utah gets hit, and that's Aaron Tho. Taking over is Cameron Wright. He'll nudge it to his left as the Rooster chases after it. Haskinen gets there in the corner. Martell hits him. Idaho with the puck as Miller to the near side gets to center ice, and he'll dump it into the right corner as it bounces off the boards on one hop of the ice. Grizzlies skip it ahead to Cameron Wright, the team's leading scorer, as he'll move it out to neutral ice. Grizzlies cross center. Utah steps over the line as Jamison skates towards the left circle. He'll drop it off. Righty shot. Saved by Shield. As that last look, I couldn't tell who took that shot. That might have been the Rooster. 48 seconds left in the first. We remain scoreless Boy, it feels like that deadlock in the Grizzlies seem like they're carrying some momentum here as some of those long passes are starting to connect.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to see from the Grizzlies, Tyson, is just to be a little bit more aggressive. And I think if they did that, they could get those passes to connect. And lo and behold, that's exactly what's happening right now. The Grizzlies have the momentum right now. Can they carry that into the first intermission, potentially get a goal here before the horn sounds?
Draw one by the Steelheads as Colton Keller moves it ahead. Action deep in the Steelhead zone as Domowski gets hit. Now Register throws it back to Bardo. 40 seconds left in the first. Still no score. Still slided ahead. Martin chases after it. So is Domowski. No icing. Domowski left wing shot saved by Miner. As Jamison will nudge it out towards the Utah blue line and goes back to Jamison. Rink wide pass doesn't connect. Grizzlies chase after it. And no icing on the play, though, as Utah behind Idaho's net, but the Steelheads win the one-on-one battle. So move it ahead to Ty Pelton Bice. 16 seconds left in the first. Bice will gain the red line, now the blue, as he overskates it as he tried to move it ahead. Raabe crosses center. 8 seconds left in the first. Raabe loses the puck. Idaho will move it back towards their blue line as Bice gets it to center ice. Nobody home. And 20 minutes have been played over Idaho's Central Arena. Still no score as the Steelheads doubled up the Grizzlies on shots, but Utah held strong. A good first period by Trent Miner. Both teams had one power play in the first period and neither connected. And if you're a Grizzlies fan, you really have to like the way the first 20 minutes played out, as both teams kind of in a deadlock right now. And for the Grizzlies, they're trying to find something offensively on Idaho. And I think they might have found something over the last couple minutes as they had a couple good looks on Adam Scheel. When we come back to the first intermission report, Guy Chiarenza will quarterback things. We'll recap the first 20 minutes of play. We'll go over some scores from around the league. We'll also talk about the rest of the series beyond tonight. What's game 2 going to look like, and the 3 games at Mavericks Center, as Utah will be here on Wednesday, April 26th for game 3. Game 4 will be on Friday, April 28th, and if necessary, game 5 at Mavericks Center will be on Saturday, April 29th. We'll talk things over in 2 minutes as Guy Chiarenza will have the Rio Tinto Kennecott intermission report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
We're scoreless after 20 minutes of play over at Idaho Central Arena. I'm Guy Chiarenza alongside Tyson Whiting, and this is the Rio Tinto Kennecott first intermission report. And as I mentioned before, no goals in the first period and only 2 penalties, 1 on each side. Cameron Wright got 2 minutes for holding 6:22 in, and Colton Keller got 2 minutes for slashing 13:40 into the first period. Neither team was able to capitalize on the power play, as both teams are 0 for 1. Idaho did outshoot Utah 15-8 in the first period, but I mean, as a result of that, I mean, things were it looked pretty even in terms of play, although Idaho did almost double up the Grizzlies on shots. Justin Ducharme took 4 shots for the Steelheads. He's the leader in the clubhouse for them. For the Grizzlies, the leader is Jordan Martell, taking 2. Trent Miner got the start net for the Grizzlies. He stopped all 15 shots that he's seen. And Adam Scheel is the goaltender for the Idaho Steelheads, and he stopped all 8 that he's seen in the first period. But Tyson, usually when we see this kind of play in the regular season, it's a bit of a feeling out process. Here, I think it's a little bit different. Here, I think we're seeing 2 teams that really just don't want to make that first mistake in this game because we know it's going to be a low-scoring affair.
I agree. We talked about the good goaltending matchup coming in. Trent Miner for the Grizzlies, and he was outstanding, stopping all 15. He allowed a couple rebounds early, but the Grizzlies defensive unit did a good job in not letting Idaho skate in to get that second look. Adam Scheel's been solid all season long. I think he's second team all league. He's one of the best goaltenders in the league. I think he probably got my vote for first team all league with the way he played against the Grizzlies at times. Both teams had a power play, and I think I think both teams have to feel good about the way their power play looked despite not scoring. Idaho had 3 or 4 really good looks, and it seemed like the Grizzlies had some good looks on their power play as well. The guy to watch out for on Utah's power play is Luke Martin. He had a good look on the left side, and he's scored a few power play goals not only this season but last year in a Grizzlies uniform, and he's had some success against Idaho. So watch out for Luke Martin up top, and the Rooster remains red hot. He had 2 shots in the first period. And the Roosters got a point in 10 straight games. He's riding the hot hand. And I think if you're Utah, you got to look at him not only on the power play, but 5-on-5 as well.
I agree, but I think the question is how many power plays are you going to get? I mean, this is a playoff game, and usually in playoff games, it seems like the amount of calls that are made seems to go down because officials are scared of making that critical call that could change the outcome of the game. So it seems like they were just letting them play in the first period. I think there was a few penalties that could have been called, maybe a little bit tacky. They decided to let them go. And it was only a penalty apiece. So for the Grizzlies, the power play looked really good on that one chance that they had. But you got to think about they may only get a few more cracks at it in this game. So it's critical that the Grizzlies capitalize on special teams. And you're right, a guy like Jordan Martell is the guy to look out for. I mean, he was great heading down the stretch into the playoffs, really seemed to have caught fire. Can he continue that in the postseason? If he can, I think the Grizzlies have a good chance to win this series.
And sometimes when you're looking at forwards that can make a difference. I mean, Dakota Raabe and his speed and playmaking ability was notable for the Grizzlies in the first period. It's great to have him back. And Johnny Walker had a good look from the right side. And really, I think for Walker, he drew that penalty. I don't know what Colton Keller did. They never did show it, but Keller and Walker got tangled up there late in the first period, and the Grizzlies got a power play because of it. I think that for Walker, the coaches have talked to him about kind of channeling his energy in a positive manner, and I think he's going to make a key contribution in a positive way. I remember, because Raabe and Walker haven't played in games in about a month. For Raabe, it's been exactly a month as he last played on March 19th. And for Walker, it's been about 3 weeks since he's been in the Grizzlies lineup. You got fresh forwards out there that haven't necessarily gone through that playoff grind. And so Raabe and Walker did look like they were a little bit extra fresh for the Grizzlies here in the first period.
I think so too, Tyson. I think Johnny Walker is that guy to really watch out for. I mean, we know him for his physicality, but you also mentioned in the pregame slotting him into that power play. I think we did see him out there on that second unit. I think for Johnny Walker, the key is just let him take a few shots, let him get out in front of the net. We know him to be a little bit of a pest out in front of the goal, and I think that's exactly what the Grizzlies did in this series because, Adam Scheel's a great goaltender. You mentioned all the awards that he's won this season. I mean, this is a guy that posted a .932 save percentage throughout the course of the season. I mean, he's fantastic. So for the Grizzlies, you're going to have to get a little creative if you're going to try and slide one out in front of him. I was a little surprised, though, by the lack of physicality in the first period with this being a playoff game, a playoff atmosphere. One of the biggest rivalries in the league seemed to be that both coaches really sent the memo to their teams and say, hey, let's not really get too physical here. Let's just play our game, and that's how we're going to beat the opposition. So I wonder, could we see physicality ramp up as time goes on throughout the course of this game?
I think we will. Once they figure out that the officials are going to let them play a little bit, I think that both teams will get a little more physical. But I think that both teams kind of wanted to utilize that stretch game. I think both teams wanted to utilize speed. It seemed like with Idaho, they wanted to turn defense into offense in a hurry, and that seemed to be where they generated some of their good looks. And for the Grizzlies, it seemed like they wanted to really stretch those passes out to neutralize and see if they can find a way, either 2-on-2, to find a way to get one guy cutting to the left side and then another guy cutting down the middle. That seemed to be where the Grizzlies were able to get some good looks on their 5-on-5 shots. And so, I think both teams are just trying to find a way to see if anything's different. And you think about these teams, they played 18 times, but it almost felt like part of that first period was a filling out process. Idaho wanted to sit back a little bit and be the aggressor. I mean, Idaho at one point had the shot count at 11-2. So they were the aggressor early, and I think for Utah, they withstood that. And once things started to calm down, they're halfway through the first period. The Grizzlies really dominated the action. And I think for Idaho, they also wanted to see if there were any subtle adjustments the Grizzlies made as well. Something that, they didn't have in the regular season. And after all, if you're Idaho, you did play against Kyle Mayhew a couple weeks ago, and they did play against Nolan Ritchie. Ritchie a couple weeks ago was wearing number 61, but they haven't seen Kyle Betts, and they haven't seen some of the other guys. They probably are trying to get a read on Luke Martin. I mean, they played him last season, but is Martin a little bit different this year than what he was last year? I think both coaches are trying to play that chess match, and they look at the first period, and that, if nothing else, scoreless first period. I think both Everett Sheen for Idaho and Utah's Ryan Kanaswich are going to make some adjustments heading into the second period, because I think both teams are trying to figure out what style each team is going to play.
Yeah, no question. I mean, adjustments will be made heading into the second period, but I think for both teams, I think speed is their biggest asset. I mean, that's the strength of both of these teams. The Steelheads are a really speedy club, but so are the Grizzlies. And so that's why we see a lot of transition play, quick transition from defense to offense, those stretch passes in the neutral zone, just trying to get that quick breakout, those odd man rushes. And so far, each team has really done a great job defensively of shutting that down. But these are two teams that have similar play styles. So you got to think, I mean, in practice, I mean, it's the same thing. So really, I think that's why we see both teams at a stalemate right now. But you mentioned a key name there when you were just talking before, Kyle Betts. I thought he had a really solid first period. I mean, there was a point in time where he was in the Steelhead zone and he just cycles around and nobody could catch him. I mean, wow, he's so speedy. He's got crazy wheels on him. So I think that's a key player for the Grizzlies. If they can get the puck on his stick and really just get him to move. I mean, we know how great of a shot he has. I mean, in 5 games with the Grizzlies this season, he's got 6 points, but they're all assists. I'd like to see Kyle Betts take some shots, rip him on net. I mean, this is a speedy kid. Let him get out there into open ice, and he can make something happen. So if I'm the Grizzlies, I'm going to try and find the speediest player in the lineup and get the puck on his stick so they can start making plays. Get down below the goal line, try and feed some stuff out in front. I noticed that's what Idaho is trying to do. They're trying to get below the goal line and feed things out into the center. The Grizzlies defense is doing a really good job of cutting that off. So I think that's what we might see in the second period. I think we might see things start to get a little bit more wide open. Once that happens, we'll see more scoring.
Idaho's not a team that makes many mistakes, but if they are to make a mistake, Utah's got to find a way to capitalize on them, because that's how Utah's going to have to get their goals. And also, you talk about those playoff type of goals. I mean, Cameron Wright and his ability to just get out in front of the net and his willingness to get in the dirty areas. That's the type of goal that you get in the playoffs. That's why you see role players who are just blue collar performers who get in those dirty, greasy areas. That's why you see some of them have the success that they do come playoff time, is you got the guys that are willing to pay the price. And I think for Utah, what's going to, keep them in this series and potentially have them winning this set is the fact that they've got some guys who are willing to get out in those dirty, greasy areas and battle out in front of the net.
Yeah, I agree, Tyson. I look at a guy like Dylan Fitz, another one that you can add to that list for the Grizzlies, really just usually known as a lateral player, just going back and forth, really plays a 200-foot game. I think he's one of those guys that really can drive the net really well. And if he's able to do that, you can cash in on something out front. I mean, Adam Shield doesn't give up a lot of rebounds, but when he does, the Grizzlies need to be ready because, I mean, those opportunities are going to be sparse. And so when you do get them, you're right, they need to capitalize on them. And I really feel like whoever makes that first mistake in this game is going to get that first goal. If you're the Grizzlies, you don't want to be playing from behind against a team like the Steelheads after a really tight defensive period that we saw in the first. So for the Grizzlies, the key is to get that first goal. And I think it starts with driving to the net and really picking up that loose change. You mentioned those greasy goals. I think that's exactly what we're going to see on whatever the first goal is in this game, whether it's for Idaho or for Utah.
And for Idaho, they have some of those guys in Jade Miller and Colton Keller and Zach Walker. They have some blue-collar performers on their side as well. When we come back, we'll go over some scores from around the world of sports, and we'll eventually get to second period action over at Idaho Central Arena. As Guy and I are hanging out at the lobby at Maverick Center for Game 1 of the 2023 Kelly Cup Playoffs, the Mountain Division semifinal round, as Utah and Idaho are scoreless after one period. We're back in 2 minutes on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
First intermission over at Idaho Central Arena, and no score between the Grizzlies and Steelheads. Idaho outshot Utah 15-8 in the first period. The winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen Americans Kansas City Mavericks series, and that game with 12 and a half minutes left in the third period. Allen leads 3-2 in game one, as Colton Hargrove has 2 goals. Jack Combs has also found the back of the net for Allen, as the Americans scored the first 3 goals of the game. But Tristan Mullen and Rosen have Kansas City's goals, as it looks like an interesting game. Shots are pretty close to even. Kansas City's had 26 shots, Allen with 24, and with 12 and a half minutes left in the third period, Allen leads Kansas City 3-2. In the Eastern Conference, Adirondack defeated Newfoundland 5-3. It's the Adirondack Thunder, the 4th seed in the North Division. They defeat Newfoundland 5-3 in game one of that series to take a one game to nothing series lead. Game 2 of the Grizzlies and Steelheads will be on Friday night. Game 2 of Allen and Kansas City will be tomorrow evening. That's the only game in the league tomorrow. So, hey, if you got Flow Sports, fire up that game, as Allen and Kansas City should be an interesting 7-game set. 4 NHL games tonight as the NHL playoffs continue. I really enjoyed last night's playoff action. The Kraken defeated Colorado 3-1. Looks like one game is headed to overtime. Islanders and Hurricanes are tied at 3. That game with 5 minutes into overtime, still tied at 3. That's an East Division semifinal. 11 minutes left in the third period. How about this one? Florida leads Boston 4-2. As Boston's without Patrice Bergeron, Florida leads 4-2 in game 2 of that series. Boston leads 1-0. 13 minutes left in the first period. Dallas leads Minnesota 1-0. And starting up in about 5 minutes from now over in Edmonton, the Kings and Oilers will play game 2. LA leads that series 1-0. Interesting action both in the ECHL and NHL.
Well, it's crazy, Tyson. I mean, you look at the Boston Bruins, and they broke the wins record, and really, that's the Steelheads comparable, is the Boston Bruins in the NHL. And you look at the NHL and that President's Trophy curse, it seems like the team that really has the best regular season record really struggles to win that Stanley Cup. I think the same thing is going to be said here for the Steelheads. Phenomenal regular season, but there's a lot of pressure on them. And I think for those teams that win that Raabe Cup, the teams that win the regular season, there's a lot of expectations, especially for the Steelheads, breaking numerous records throughout the course of the year. I mean, you think about a record in this league, the Steelheads probably broke it. So there's a lot of pressure on this team. And the question is will they crack? And you get a team like the Grizzlies going up against them in the playoffs in the first round, of the divisional opponent, and the Bruins got the Florida Panthers. That's a team that knows them inside and out. That's a tough series. So I definitely think that Boston-Florida series is going to go pretty long. I think the same thing could be said here about the Grizzlies and Steelheads.
It'll be interesting to see if the Grizzlies can capitalize on whatever mistakes the Steelheads make. That certainly could be a big factor in this series. When we come back in 1 minute, we'll have second period action over at not Cable Dahmer Arena, but Idaho Central Arena. No score between the Grizzlies and Steelheads on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
We begun play over in the second period as Idaho has the puck as Kyle Betts at neutral ice. Grizzlies skating from right to left here in the second period. Idaho from left to right as James Shearer gets it. He'll slide it out to neutral ice as Grizzlies fumble it at the Utah blue line. Now another Grizzly gets it, and Kyle Betts will chip it off the far boards as Idaho will zing a pass into Grizzlies territory. Betts tries to dump it back in. He gets blasted by an Idaho defenseman. This goes back over to Dawson Bardo. He'll move it out to center ice as Ritchie will glance off a stick. Ritchie gets it, gloves it, and he'll skeet towards the right circle, dropping off. Grizzlies with a righty shot, saved by Shield. And he holds on as Nolan Ritchie dropped it off. I couldn't quite tell who that forward was that took that shot, but there's 19:14 left in the second. As they show a replay, dropped it off for Cameron Wright, who took a shot, and then Shield made a routine save. So it looks like the Grizzlies changed up their forward line a little bit to start the second period, moving Nolan Ritchie onto a line with Cameron Wright. Draw's going to be in the right circle. 46 seconds into the second period, still no score. Still looking for the Optum first goal of the game score for Utah as Utah wins the draw. As Brandon Cutler gets it towards Fizer, it's picked off by Domowski. Domowski led the Steelheads with 30 goals this season. He crosses center ice. He'll take a shot. Glove saved by Miner. And Trent holds on 59 seconds into the second period.
I think the key for the Grizzlies here to start this second period, Tyson, is to build off the momentum that they built towards the end of the first period. I really like the start for the Grizzlies to go down, take that shot. Next step is just to win faceoffs and impose your will. I mean, we've seen at times throughout the course of the season, the Steelheads are that team that will just kind of dominate you and suffocate you in their own zone. Grizzlies can't let that happen here in the second. They need to ride the momentum and start playing the offensive zone.
Draw on the far side. It's won by the Grizzlies as Raabe gets it. As he'll toss it out to center ice. It bounces off the boards. Jamison will carry it into the zone. He'll skeet towards the right circle. Take a righty shot. Glove saved by Shield. He holds on as we get another whistle with the 18:52 left in the second. As Jamison was out there with Raabe and Johnny Walker. It's good to see Raabe back. It was exactly 1 month ago when he got injured late in the first period against the Allen Americans, suffering an upper body injury. And for Johnny Walker, it's been 3 weeks since he's been on the ice. March 29th against Wichita. Draws in the far circle, as it looks like the Grizzlies changed up skaters again. Taking the draw is Ritchie. He's out there with Cutler and Fizer now. As Idaho wins the draw, they'll chip it ahead. It goes to center ice. Steelheads were carried into the zone. Domowski skates towards the right circle. Tried to center, but it hit the side of the net. As Ritchie and Ty Pelton bice battles, though, will skate towards the corner. He gets blasted. Now another Grizzly gets hit by Colton Keller. Puck to the left wing. Idaho with a shot, and it's blocked. As Idaho skates towards the left circle. As Domowski gets poked away by Mayhew. As he'll slide it out to center ice. It goes to Cutler, who drops off for Fizer. Now to Ritchie. Over to Cutler. Right wing shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes out to the near side. Fizer will tap it off the end boards deep in the Steelhead zone. As Idaho cuts in front of Brandon Cutler, they'll feed it to the far side. Now it goes to center ice as Idaho enters the zone, but Hedrick gets it poked away and dumps it in as he'll skate off the ice. Hedrick won the league's Defenseman of the Year award. 6 of the last 7 years, the Defenseman of the Year award came in the Mountain Division. Pass ahead as the Grizzlies enter the zone. Raabe with great speed stops in the near boards. He'll toss it up top for Thomas, who glides it across to McDonald. The captain with a right wing shot, and it's blocked. As goes over towards Idaho. Now out of the screen, Thomas chases after it. The linesman raises his right arm enthusiastically as icing is called on the Steelheads. 17:38 left in the second. Seems like both teams have had a couple good looks here in the second period, but both teams' goaltenders are going to be tough to score against.
It seems that way, Tyson. We're headed towards a goaltender duel here in Boise, but I think the key for the Grizzlies is, and I got to give the defense a lot of credit. The key is just tight defense, and the Grizzlies really have played a really solid defensive game. We saw them do that a few times in their most recent outings in Boise. I mean, that's got to be a tough environment to play in. I mean, a sold-out crowd, Idaho Steelheads, favorite team. I mean, the Grizzlies have done a really nice job of coming into a hostile environment and playing a good defensive game.
Grizzlies won the draw offensive zone. Martin right wing shot, stick saved by Shield. As Martel skates towards the right corner, now to Cameron Wright, who feeds it along the near wing boards. Left side, sure chips to the corner. Utah gets hit. Does Kyle Betts as he gets engulfed by Jack Becker. As Idaho in the corner lifts it out of the zone. Grizzlies chase after it, and Shearer gets it at the Utah blue line. They'll move it ahead to Cameron Wright. Now back to Shearer on the left side. And it taps off his stick and flies into the bench area as play is stopped with 17:12 left in the second. As looks like one of the Idaho Coaches, that's not either the head coach or the assistant coach. Looks like either the trainer or equipment manager. I think that's a trainer. Toss in the first row. The equipment manager, Chris Bestel, the Beast, has been there, I think, as long as the franchise has been there. And he usually is on the other side of the bench. Draws at neutral ice near the Steelheads bench. Idaho wins the faceoff. They're at center ice, and they'll dump it in. Miner stays in net as Mayhew bounces off a Steelhead. Now goes to Dylan Fitz in the left wing. He'll chip it off the boards. Walker chases after it. As Shield will glide it towards the near side. Fitz cuts it off in the corner. As Fitz fires towards the net, Shield makes a save. As Fitz had to get crafty there, trying to beat a double team. He won the battle and fired it on net, but Adam Shield made a routine save. But you talk about those role players are going to come up critical. I looked at two guys, Dylan Fitz and Keaton Jamison, who have been reliable for the Grizzlies all year long, and it seems like both guys have shown up here early in the second period. 16:54 left in the second. Jamison will take the draw. He's got Fitz to his left. And, I can't tell the guy is on the right. I would if I were there. Up top is Tho and Mayhew. That's Johnny Walker on the right wing. As Walker, the Arizona State product, he played in one playoff game for the Grizzlies last year. Utah wins the draw. Tho, high slot, shots blocked. As Idaho gets the puck, they've got numbers, 3-on-2. They cross center ice. As he glided over to the left side, Register bobbles it and throws it to the corner. As the puck around the boards, it goes to the right side. Idaho chips it up top for Bardo. Take a righty shot, and it goes wide as Jade Miller tried to redirect it. Miller skates towards the far side. Utah gets tripped up, and that's Johnny Walker. Walker is holding his face as he loses his stick. Now left wing, Idaho swings and misses as it goes to Keaton Jamison. As Walker gets his stick back. As the puck goes out to center ice, Fitz gets it. He'll skate towards the right circle, take a right wing shot, and it goes wide. As puck glides towards the near boards, and looked like Utah got tripped up in their own zone, and that was Johnny Walker. He's had a tough shift there. Right side across to Walker, one-timer, and Shield makes the save. Well, interesting shift by Johnny Walker, who got hit multiple times and lost his balance. Then he got the puck on the left side and fired a one-timer, but Adam Shield made the save. But that's Johnny Walker. He'll take those hits, and he'll get back up, and he's a pretty good scorer and has a great shot when he's got his chance.
I mean, that's a Johnny Walker shift, Tyson. What a warrior he is. I mean, gets banged up a few times on that shift and is still able to rattle a heck of a one-timer on the near side. Think about an X-Factor guy for the Grizzlies. That's it. It's great to have him back in the lineup.
Draws going to be in the near circle. Still no score. 16:04 in. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 5-1 in the second period. Utah wins the draw. Left wing Shearer shot, and it's blocked by his own guy out in front. As Utah gets it back to Shearer, he'll slide it to his right. Luke Martin will fire it around the boards. Ritchie behind the net. Ritchie, the Brandon Wheat King product, over to Martin. High slot shot, saved by Shield. Rebounds Shearer, left wing shot, and it's blocked by Keller. As the puck goes towards the far side, A.J. White will throw it back behind Idaho's goal line. Now they'll chip it ahead, pass behind Keller off the boards. Bounces off of Shearer. Keller gets it. He'll throw it to his left. Idaho left wing shot, saved by Miner. Now Keller gets knocked down by Martin. Martin gets the puck and he'll move it ahead. I think they're going to call a penalty on Martin as they stop play after Utah touched the puck. Keller has some words for Luke Martin, and Martin has a look of, you got to be kidding me. Martin sporting a mustache and a little bit of a mullet. A little bit of business in the front and party in the back, and it looks like Martin's going to have a 2-minute party in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell as he nudged down Colton Keller, and the call was made by the referee that was nearby. So it's going to be a power play for Idaho. Their second of the game as Martin goes to the box.
Well, the Grizzlies are 1-for-1 on the penalty kill so far in this game. I really like what they were able to do on that first opportunity on the PK, just keeping stuff to the perimeter, blocking shots out in front, and that seems to be what the recipe needs to be for the Grizzlies on this PK here.
Idaho wins the draw. Hedrick in the high slot throws to the right side for Pelton Bice. Bice throws it to the near goal line as Idaho gets it back up top for Hedrick. He'll slide it to his left for Kudla. Will skate towards the left circle. Kudla gets it across to Demowski. Gets picked off in the slot by Penner, who gets it and clears it out. Good job by the Grizzlies Iron Man as Idaho skating from left to right. Has a long way to go. As Adam Shield will drop it off for Kudla, who will throw it behind his back as Idaho gains neutral ice. Now they cross center. Right wing over to Hedrick. Now to Keller on the right side. As he'll spin it along the boards. McDonald gets it behind the goal line. He'll drag it to the left side. Idaho keeps it in. Keller skates down the middle. He gets it taken away from behind by Cameron Wright. Great back check by Wright, who dumps it in. Betts chases after it. Grizzlies had 5 shorthanded goals this season. Betts along the near side. Gets it past Cameron Wright as he tries to locate it. Kudla will throw it behind his back as goes to center ice. Now the Steelheads throw it deeper into their own zone as Hedrick chases after it. Watch out for Owen Hedrick. He's one of the best scoring defensemen in the league. Hedrick gets to center ice, gets around Fizer. Now Hedrick skates towards the right circle. Take a righty shot. Saved by Miner. Trent gets it and he'll outlet it out to neutral ice as the Steelheads try to carry it back in, and they're called for offside with 47 seconds left in Idaho's second power play of the game. We're still scoreless.
Well, it's very rare that you see your leading scorer out on the penalty kill, and Cameron Wright was out there for the Grizzlies, and he makes a fantastic defensive play, picking the pocket of his steelhead. And if he doesn't get his stick in there, I mean, that's a shot from the high slot that very well could have gone in. So great defensive play by the Grizzlies' leading scorer in the regular season.
Idaho has outshot Utah 17-13, but the Grizzlies have the edge in the second period. Steelheads step over the line as White feeds it to the left side. Now it goes to the corners. Idaho will skeet towards their right, and they'll drop it off for Bardo. Back to Bice. Make that Justin Ducharme. We'll get it around. Now it goes to the left side. Grizzlies skeet towards the far corner. They get it, and they'll clear it out. 23 seconds left in Idaho's second power play of the game. Still no score. 13:44 and counting left in the second. As Register drops it off, as the Steelheads carry it across center ice. Ducharme gets around Betts. Now he skeets towards his right. He falls down looking for a call. None to be had. Grizzlies will clear it out. Schill over to the far goal line. Will drop it off. Wright chases after him. Ducharme is hurt. He'll skeet towards the bench. As skating in, but offside are the Steelheads with 13:21 left in the second.
I think the Grizzlies might have caught in a break there with that Ducharme play. Hopefully he's going to be okay and is able to return to this game. You never want to see a guy go down, but it looks like he just kind of awkwardly slides into the boards. But nonetheless, the Grizzlies have done a really great job executing on this penalty kill.
13:21's left in the second period. No score. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
No score over Idaho Central Arena as Justin Ducharme crashed into the boards. He was slow to get back to his feet. Guy, certainly interesting. Grizzlies with a good penalty kill. They're 2 for 2 on the PKs. We're still looking for the game's first goal.
Well, in a tight defensive game like this one, you need your penalty kill to be sharp. And for the Grizzlies, that's exactly what they've gotten so far.
Idaho, Grizzlies carried out to center ice as Betts dumps it in as he battles with Cody Haskinen. Skating over there is Casey Johnson. 13 minutes left in the second. Still no score as Idaho to the near side. We'll move it out to Wade Murphy. It will nudge it ahead as Idaho to the right wing. Justin Misiak skates towards the right circle. Take a lefty shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound goes to the right corner as Martin battles with Jack Becker. Now it goes towards Cameron Wright. He's trying to reach for it and glides to Betts. We'll tap it off the near boards, and it goes into the Steelhead zone as Martell over towards Wright, who gets spun around along the near boards. Martell over there as well as 2-on-2 battle along the near wall. Idaho will chip it over, joining the plays. Penner chipped it back towards the scrum. Now Idaho spins along the wall. It's still in the Steelhead zone, 12:20 and counting left in the second. As Haskinen feeds to the far side, it glides along the far wing boards. Raabe skates to the right point. He'll fire a backhand shot towards the net as skips towards the left corner as it goes wide. As Fitz battles, as Idaho takes it away, it goes to the left point. Thomas fires a lefty shot, and it goes wide as he shot it from the point. As Idaho will clear it out. Thomas skates over there as the arm is raised by the linesman, and icing is on the Steelheads with an even 12 minutes left in the second period. Guy, it sounds like a pretty good watch party's going on here at Maverick Center.
It does, Tyson. I've heard rumors that the Grizzlies fan base, a lot of them are in the building here tonight. So shout out to you guys here at the Maverick Center for the watch party. Grizzmania, get loud. I want them over to Idaho Central Arena. I want them to be able to hear you, so get loud.
Draw one by the Steelheads. They're on their own zones. It goes to the far side. As Idaho will chip it ahead. It goes to Neutrice. As Fizer moves it ahead. It goes to Luke Martin, who will backhand it across. As Cutler skates towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Bounced off his glove. Idaho couldn't clear it out. Martin gloves it, drops it, but couldn't get a shot off as Fizer gets over towards Martin. He's in the left point as he gets spun around. Now goes to Ritchie. He's on the left side. Ritchie tried to skate towards the corner. He got held up by Keller. Now the puck goes back to Keller at the point. He battles with Martin. Now it goes towards Keller as he wins the one-on-one battle with Martin. He'll tap it off the far wing boards. Goes back to Utah. Fizer around center ice will chip it to the right side. Grizzlies enter. As Cutler skates in, but the whistle blows as they determine that Luke Martin didn't get back to neutral ice before Cutler entered. 11:17 left in the second. Still no scores. The draw's going to be at center ice.
I like that last shift for the Grizzlies, Tyson. I'd like to see the Grizzlies see a little bit more sustained offensive pressure in the Idaho zone. If they're able to do that, then I like their chances of getting the next goal. Really, though, a good energy shift on that last one for the Grizzlies.
Draw at neutral ice is won by Idaho, skating from left to right here in the second period. As he gets to Willie Narum, right wing, he crosses center ice and he'll dump it in as it tapped off the boards. Now left wing lefty shot saved by Miner. Everybody hacking away. Idaho around the net as they'll chip it off as Steelhead. Now it goes to the right corner. Great job by the Grizzlies protecting their net. As Fitz moves it to the right side, Grizzlies enter. As they'll drop it off for Walker. Walker gets back checked and taking the puck away in a good defensive effort. It's Jade Miller. He'll glide it to center ice, but the Grizzlies get it back. As Though moves ahead, it tapped off the stick of Jamison. It goes back to center ice near side as Narum will slide it to his left for Zach Walker. He'll dump it in as Grizzlies get it near side. As they're about halfway through the scheduled 60 minutes, pass to center ice is picked off as Idaho skates back in. Wade Murphy gets around a couple Grizzlies. He's on the right side. He'll skate around Utah's net. Murphy now on the left side, slide it across the crease and it goes wide. Right side, Cudlup at the point. He'll glide it across and now it goes back to Cudlup. He's on the right side. He'll look to center it over towards Hedrick. Backhand shot goes wide. Grizzlies get it. Utah attacks from right to left as they cross center ice. Utah will bounce it off as Steelhead. Now Jamison, left wing at the point, takes a shot that goes wide as Idaho crosses center. Steelheads enter with momentum as they skate towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot. Glove saved by Miner. And Trent holds on with 9:55 left in the second. Timeout on the ice, still no score here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new Bean to Cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Welcome back to Maverick Center. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. We're hanging out at the lobby at Maverick Center. Guy, what have you noticed so far?
Well, Tyson, it's a deadlock. It's a stalemate, whatever you want to call it. We're dead even through about 30 minutes over at Idaho Central Arena. But I think this is good for the Grizzlies because the longer this game stays tied, the more the Grizzlies' confidence grows. And the Grizzlies were already high in confidence riding into this game. But, I mean, the longer that they stay toe-to-toe with the Steelheads, the more that confidence grows. And the Grizzlies say, why not us? Why can't we take down the best team in the league? So as time grows, things go in favor of the Grizzlies.
Idaho outshot Utah 15-8 in the first period. Both teams have 6 shots in the second. Draws in the far circle of the Grizzlies zone, and it's won by Idaho as A.J. White moves it up top. As Dawson Bartle will bounce off a Grizzly, Utah clears it out to center. Register gets at the Idaho blue line as everybody stops skating. It looks like a penalty is going to be called. It's going to be slashing, and it's going to be on Idaho. Or is it? Let's see. The door's open to the penalty box, and it's going to be a Steelhead that goes in. Utah will be on the power play for, well, looks like everybody's gliding towards the Steelhead zone as the Steelhead stick went flying, and that's what the call was. It kind of looked innocent, and really if A.J. White didn't have a stick go flying, it'd be a penalty on, they just let it go. But Cameron Wright, for the second time tonight, is going to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get anything on the camera angle. We were looking one way or another to figure out who was going to the box. We apologize. As Idaho wins the draw, they're on the power play, still scoreless. Over to the right side, Idaho wins the face-off. Murphy over to register. He'll glide it to his left as a lefty shot goes wide. So it's taken by Justin Ducharme. As the Steelheads get it back towards register. Murphy feeds it to the corner as A.J. White battles with a Grizzly. White loses his balance. It goes back to the right point for Murphy. He'll slide it to his left for Ducharme. He feeds it towards the middle. Shot kicks away by Miner. As Idaho spins it towards the near side as Murphy will skeet towards the right side. Now I'll get it up top for register. I'll take a lefty shot. Glove saved by Miner. And Trent holds on. 1:25 left in the Idaho power play. Steelheads run the offensive zone there for 35 straight seconds. They got it up top to register, but looks like Trent Miner's got his A game tonight. As the draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Let's see what circle it's going to be on as they show Trent Miner getting some water. It's in the near circle. As Murphy will take the face-off against Kyle Betts. 9:13 left in the second, still scoreless. Idaho has a slight edge in the shot count. Draw one by the Grizzlies. Tarun Fizer gets it, and he clears it out. Great to see Tarun Fizer back after that scary accident on Saturday. As Idaho's skating from left to right, they get around Kyle Betts. They get to neutral ice. The Steelheads gain center ice. As register with a right wing feed over to Keller, but the whistle blows as Idaho's offside with 1:06 left in the power play. Good job by the Steelheads trying to gain the line with some momentum, but they were just offside there.
Yeah, and good work by the Grizzlies penalty kill unit to really stymie them at the blue line and catch them offsides. But for the Grizzlies, they're doing a great job on this penalty kill all night long, just keeping things to the perimeter, limiting those chances for Idaho in the slots. And oh, by the way, Trent Miner's having yet another fantastic game.
Draw at neutral ice is won by the Steelheads as Idaho will set things up halfway through their power play. There's a dropping off for Hedrick, who feeds to his left as the Steelheads skate down the middle. Idaho gains the line. They'll feed it to the far corner, trying to get around towards Keller. It goes to the right point for Hedrick. He'll slide it across as Ducharme over to Pelton Bice to get it back to the left side. Ducharme in the left point will slide it to the high slot for Hedrick. Now to the right side for Pelton Bice. Back to Hedrick. One-timer, and it goes wide. As Domowski over on the right side gets the puck. He'll skeet towards the point. Now he skates towards his left as Domowski takes a shot, and it's blocked by Betts. As Domowski over to the far side gets it back. As Bice try to get it back towards Domowski, Utah picks it off. The puck glides towards the high slot. Keeping it in is Cutler on a nice spin move. He'll skeet towards the right circle. He'll chip it across to Hedrick, who swings and misses. Kyle Betts gets to neutral ice, tried to dump it in and fanned on it, but the puck glides towards the Steelhead zone. Idaho moves it ahead. 7 seconds left in the power play. Grizzlies skate down the middle. They drop it off to the right side, but Cutler gets spun around by Keller, who was in the right place at the right time as Cutler over towards Penner. Now right wing, righty shot's blocked as Cameron Wright, fresh out of the box, took that shot. As it's a Utah disaster cleanup successful penalty kill. As Idaho crosses center ice and they'll lift it in as it bounces off of Trent Miner's pads and goes to the far side. Utah slides it across to Mayhew. Now to Cutler. It will chip it ahead as chasing after it, but they just couldn't reach it. Was Penner. It goes back to Idaho. 7:21 and counting left in the second. Still no score. As Keller make that Cody Haskinen will skeet towards the right corner. He'll chip it across. Betts. Now Idaho feeds out in front. Hits the side of the net. Right wing, backhand shot by Misiak. Blocked by Wright. As Misiak gets pushed in the corner. As Idaho gets up top for Haskinen. Right point. Righty shot is blocked by Tho. Goes back to Utah. As Grizzlies get it out to center ice. Pass connects the Grizzlies to the left point. As Cutler trying to drop it off for Fizer. Haskinen got in the way. As Idaho skates around Haskinen as Walker moves it ahead. Zach Walker, that is. Puck goes back to the Grizzlies. McDonald will feed it across. It's cut off on the right point by Walker. He'll get to the corner as Idaho will nudge it back up top as a lefty shot goes wide. That was taken from somebody off the screen as Haskinen skates towards the right corner as he loses the one-on-one battle as the Grizzlies will cross center. Ritchie to the left wing, gains the line as he'll throw it towards Raabe. Now I try to get it back to the right side for Fitz, and it's picked off. Idaho 2-on-2. They skeet towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot. Saved by Miner. As Idaho gets tripped up in the slot, and is a call being made? Can't tell. Looks like no call. As Bardo rolls it around. Thomas behind the net. Over to McDonald. They'll chip it over to the left side. As Idaho still in the attack zone. Throws it across. Register one-timer. Saved by Miner. Less than 6 minutes left in the second. Thomas gets out to the left wing for Fitz, who dumps it in from neutral ice. As Bardo chases after it, wearing number 51. Bardo skating from left to right. He's to the far side. He'll move it ahead. It goes past the Rooster. Now it goes to Utah. Betts loses at center ice. The puck glided too far in front of him. As Murphy skates around James Shearer, backhand shot, and it goes wide. Martin might have gotten a piece of it as he was laying towards the near goal line. As Idaho gets it back towards Becker, up top to Bardo. He'll take a right wing shot, and it's blocked by Betts. Grizzlies cross center ice 3-on-2. So move it ahead to Betts. He'll take a right wing shot, and it goes wide. And might have gotten a piece of it with Shield. As puck goes back to center ice, Martel will skate around Misiak. He gets to center ice. Now he gets around Register. Martel still with the puck as they'll glide it across to Jameson. Now to Martin at center ice. He dumps it in. About 5 minutes left in the second. Still no score. Grizzlies to the far goal line. They skate around the net. They'll chip it up top for Mayhew. Left wing, lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Jameson in the near corner. Register with a push. Jameson skates towards his right. He gets held up. Right over to the right side. Lefty one-timer goes wide as the Grizzlies towards the near side. Jameson gets pushed by Keller. 4:42 and counting left in the second as Idaho comes out of the scrum with the puck as Nira moves it ahead. As they get it towards Misiak, he skates towards the right side. He'll drop it off for Becker. Becker near the boards will chip it up top as nobody was home on the right point as he goes out to center ice. Kudla out at the Utah blue line will cross center ice or make that the Idaho blue line. He'll lift it in the air. And Martin gathers it in front of the crease. Kudla pushes Mayhew. Now Tho pushes Kudla as we get a whistle. 4:22 left in the second. Still no score. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
No score, 4:22 left in the second period. Guy, it's been a stalemate.
Yeah, it has, Tyson, but I have to say the Steelheads were heating up before that last whistle. And I think the Grizzlies really needed that whistle. I think that's why Trent Miner just elected to hold that puck instead of just playing it off. But the Grizzlies themselves did have something to build on that last shift. They were getting some sustained pressure in the offensive zone, but they need to win this faceoff here and just take possession.
Belton Bice will take the draw against Keaton Jameson deep in the Grizzlies zone. And the draw won by Idaho as it goes towards the left point. Steelheads roll it around. It's cut off by the Grizzlies in the far corner. They'll move it ahead to Raabe, who's back after missing 1 month. He'll gain center ice and dump it in. Raabe easily gets around Hedrick as Raabe throws to the far side. Grizzlies get knocked down, does Jameson. Betts throws it to Raabe, right wing shot, and rolls towards Adam's shield, but good job by Nolan Hedrick to get a stick in the way. Left point, Thomas fires lefty shot. He gets redirected. Raabe with a backhand shot. He scores! Dakota Raabe's giving Utah a 1-0 lead as he scored on a rebound from a Corey Thomas shot with 3:53 left in the second. Welcome back in the lineup to Dakota Raabe as he's the opt-in first goal of the game score. And he did the dirty work out in front. It's great to see Raabe, who was playing outstanding when he got injured on March 19th. And, boy, what an impact he's made.
Oh, man, Tyson, what a clutch goal. And you're right, it was going to be one of those greasy, dirty goals. Dakota Raabe kind of driving to the net, gloves down, a Corey Thomas shot, puts it right on his stick, and puts it home. What a move by Dakota Raabe. Welcome back to the lineup.
Raabe had 11 goals in 55 games this season, so Utah leads 1-0. As a draw at center ice is won by the Steelheads. As Idaho skating from left to right. They'll move it ahead as Luke Martin will tap it, but couldn't get it out of the zone. As Fizer will move it out to center ice as the Steelheads get it poked away. As taking it to these Ritchie. He'll drop it off. Right lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Well, the Grizzlies had a 2-on-1. Ritchie dropped it off, and somebody from the right wing had a pretty good look on Adam Shield. So just like that, the Grizzlies have scored, and they get good momentum to get a good scoring chance there.
Keyword, Tyson, momentum. The Grizzlies need to take that momentum from the goal and ride off of that. These next few shifts are critical. The Grizzlies need to take that energy and convert it into another goal.
It was Brandon Cutler that took that last shot as Richie just dropped it off for him, and he was all alone on the right side. 1-0 Grizzlies. Utah wins the draw. Cutler lefty shot, and it gets blocked as Idaho will carry it out to center ice. Grizzlies doing a good job getting back defensively as Ducharme dumps it in. Miner feeds it to the near side as Murphy gets it back towards Ducharme, who crashed along the boards earlier in the second period. He'll throw it to the left point as Idaho skates towards their right. As Cudla make that mat register, will stop in the right circle. They'll get it up top for White, who throws to the left side. One-timer and is blocked. Luke Martin skates towards the far corner. He'll chip it out to center ice. Grizzlies' pursuit gets cut off at center ice as Fizer is chasing after it. Register will toss it to center ice as the Steelheads will ricochet off the far boards. Idaho enters from the left. They'll skate towards the left circle. Looking for a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Shearer. Puck goes back to the left side. Now across to Bardo. He'll fake a shot. Now he takes one. Saved by Miner. Puck goes back to the left point off of Miner. As Bardo skates towards the far corner, he's being shadowed by Wright. As Bardo centers it to Misiak, who swings and misses. Now Misiak on two knees takes a shot, saved by Miner. Rebound shot. And that one goes wide on the second look as Idaho to the left side, skates in the circle. Near the goal line, shot saved by Miner. Rebound goes back towards Misiak. He'll feed it to the left point. Lefty shot is blocked as Grizzlies over in the far corner battle. Now coming out of the puck is Utah. They'll lift it high into the air as it goes deep in the Steelhead zone. As Casey Johnson chases after it, as Tarun Fizer will skate towards the bench. About 2 minutes left in the second. Utah leads 1-0 as Johnson skates down the middle. He'll feed it to the near side for Walker. He gets it poked away by Betts. It goes back to Johnson at the Idaho blue line. As Idaho gets it back to Johnson, he skates down the middle. He'll slice it to the near side for Niram, who dumps into the left corner as it skips to the corner on two hops to the ice. As Idaho skates to the far goal line, looking for a shot, and Walker fanned on it. Cutler gets poked away by Wright as Mayhew back towards Wright as Wright gets hit in the face by Cudla, and Wright will skate towards the bench. No penalty either way. Yeah, there is a penalty, and it's going to be a high sticking, and it's going to be on Idaho as the referee is going to look at Cameron Wright to see if there's blood. Is it going to be 2 minutes? Yeah, it's going to be 2 minutes, says the referee, as Cudla was over there with Cameron Wright. Wright kind of missed on something, and then Cudla hit Wright in the face. And so Cameron Wright draws a penalty, and the Grizzlies late in the second period are going to be on the power plays. Patrick Cudla gets 2 minutes for high sticking. 1:29 left in the second period. Utah is up 1-0. Well, it'd be critical to see if the Grizzlies can find a way to get that second goal here late in the second period.
This is a big turning point in the game, Tyson. Can the Grizzlies get that power play goal, which would be the first on either side in this game, and take a 2-0 lead, or is Idaho's PK going to stand strong?
Draw on the Steelhead zones won by Utah as Mayhew throws to the far side. As Utah skates towards the far corner to Cutler, Register takes it away and clears it out. As Miner will throw it to the far side. Grizzlies get knocked down, and Idaho throws it back towards A.J. White. Grizzlies will ricochet it out to center. Idaho gets it back. They'll backpedal into their own zone as Dawson Bardo will lift it in the air. It goes over the head to Tarun Fizer, on to Kyle Mayhew, who will skate around Miner's net. Less than 1 minute left in the second as Mayhew will cross center ice. He'll chip it to the far side. Grizzlies enter. Jamison spins along the boards as Richie gets pushed in the near corner. As Idaho trying to hack it away from him. Cutler skates over there as puck goes back towards the left point. As, oh boy, it looks like Jamison tripped up Idaho. 41 seconds left in the second as there was a scrum. And as the Grizzlies looked like they were going to win that scrum as the puck was going towards the left point, Jamison trips up a Steelhead, and that will do it for the power play as Keaton Jamison skates towards the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Will skate 4-on-4 late in the second period.
It's a tough break for Keaton Jamison. He was just trying to do the right thing. He's just trying to muscle his stick towards the puck, but instead catches the skate of a Steelhead. And as a result of that, we'll go to 4-on-4. I think the transition game is really going to open up here with all that open ice.
41 seconds left in the second. Utah leads 1-0 as Dakota Raabe, who had 11 goals in the regular season, scored on a rebound from out in front. So we'll skate 4-on-4 draws in the Grizzlies zone over to the far side. Idaho wins the faceoff as Heiskanen will skate towards the far corner. So he's being shadowed. Grizzlies take it away. So they'll move it over to Kyle Betts. The puck goes over his stick and out the center ice. Idaho regathers. Less than 30 seconds left in the period as Johnson moves it ahead. As Idaho gets to center ice, and they skate down the middle. As Idaho gains the line, they'll drop it off. Left wing shot, saved by Miner. And Trent holds on with 19.4 seconds left in the second. as Idaho's done a good job getting shots off late in the second period, but the Grizzlies seem to be holding strong as Domowski had a good look from the left wing, but it's still 1-0 Grizzlies lead.
Well, it starts with a great defensive structure for the Grizzlies, but I mean, you can't overlook the play of Trent Miner in this game. We knew that the Grizzlies goaltending would need to be elite, and so far that's exactly what they're getting.
Game 1 of the best of 7 series. It looks like it's going to be a fun set. Idaho wins the draw. Left wing shot goes wide. That was a blast by Owen Hedrick. 12 seconds left in the period. Betts crosses center ice. Now he gains the line, stops before he gets to the corner as Betts drops off for the corner for Martin. As Martin looks to center, it's picked off by Idaho as the Steelheads get to center ice and time runs out. We played 2 periods over at Idaho Central Arena, and Utah leads 1-0 as Dakota Raabe has the only goal in the game. As Raabe scored on a rebound from out in front. The Dakota Raabe goal, we'll give you the details. Let's see what they are. Tyler Penner and Corey Thomas got the assist as the goal was scored 16:07 in, and Dakota Raabe is the Optum first goal of the game scorer. Utah had an outstanding record when leading after 2 periods this season, and it's the Grizzlies 1 and the Steelheads 0. When we come back, Guy Chiarenza will quarterback things for the second intermission, and we'll talk some hockey and preview the third, as once again the score after 2 periods is the Utah Grizzlies 1 and the Idaho Steelheads 0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
It's the Grizzlies 1 and the Steelheads 0 after 40 minutes of play over at Idaho Central Arena, who were scoreless through the first 20, really an evenly played game, but it was the Grizzlies that broke through in the second period, 16:07 into the second to be exact, with Dakota Raabe in his first game back in about a month. Returns to the lineup and gets the first and only goal of the game so far. That comes from Tyler Penner and Corey Thomas. Great play by Raabe where he kind of just drives to the net. Corey Thomas takes a shot. Raabe gloves it down, puts it right on his tape, and he's able to put it home. And that gives the Grizzlies a 1-0 lead. Shots are 33-18 in favor of Idaho, but the Grizzlies doing a good job of getting quality shots on goal and limiting Idaho's shots to the perimeter. Idaho is 0 for 4 on the power play. The Grizzlies are 0 for 2. We're currently in the middle of a 4-on-4 situation to end the second period. And so we'll skate 4-on-4 to start the third. But the Grizzlies' penalty kill has been strong, 0 for 4 against the Idaho Steelheads, a power play unit that was really good in the regular season, a unit that was 22.2% at the end of regular season play. Trent Miner got the start in net for the Grizzlies. He stopped 33 of 33 through 40 minutes. It's Adam Scheel in net for the Steelheads. Had a great regular season, but he's the only goalie to surrender a goal in this game as he stopped 17 of 18. And the leader in the clubhouse for the Grizzlies in shots is not Cameron Wright. He has 2. It's actually Brandon Cutler. Cameron Wright led all rookies in shots in the regular season, so he's usually a favorite to take shots on goal for the Grizzlies and be the leader in that department. But tonight, it's Brandon Cutler who is quietly having a solid game. As for the Steelheads, Justin Ducharme leads them with 6 shots through 40 minutes. But Tyson, we got a really good watch party going on here at the Maverick Center. When Raabe scored, we celebrated, and I think I heard a loud uproar from the other side of the Maverick Center. They're getting loud, the Grizzmaniacs, Grizzmania, the best fan base in the ECHL. I think we're all happy to see Dakota Raabe get that goal in his first game back to the lineup. But most importantly, the Grizzlies broke that deadlock that we saw for very much of the first 40 minutes of play.
It's kind of interesting to see the shot counts. Looked like Utah did have an edge there in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second period. Then Idaho really responded later in the second frame. They ended up with an 18-10 lead in the shots department in the second period, and now they lead 33-18. Trent Miner's really held strong, and I think the Grizzlies' defensive unit, they're doing a good job out in front of the net, and that's really the big thing. Is Idaho, wants to, being a playoff team and being a team that's won as many games as they have, they're scoring a lot of goals from out in front. So the Grizzlies are really doing a good job. Trent Miner's doing a good job not letting rebounds in, but when he has allowed the rare rebound, the Grizzlies have been out in front to make sure that Idaho can't convert on a second chance. And so, Trent Miner's been outstanding, but the defensive unit led by Luke Martin, James Shearer, Connor McDonald, Corey Thomas, and I really think that Aaron Tho and Kyle Mayhew are playing well as well. All 6 defensemen look like they're on top of their game, and that's a big reason as to why Idaho hasn't scored in the first 2 periods.
And it really was those additions on that blue line throughout the course of the season that has really developed this Grizzlies defensive unit into what it is. I mean, McDonald and Shearer have been locks on the Grizzlies defense all season long, really just providing great defensive play on the blue line. But you add a guy like Aaron Tho to that mix. Corey Thomas was acquired early on in the season. Luke Martin comes down from Colorado. Kyle Mayhew is signed. I mean, you've got a lot of really great defensive players on this unit, but you also got some guys that will jump up in the offensive side of things. We know Aaron Tho is prone to do that. So I really like what the Grizzlies have put together here on the blue line. And really, they've done a great job defensively in this game, but you have to think that Idaho is going to be a little bit more aggressive in this third period as they are down and they are hungry to try and tie this thing up.
Well, it should be fascinating to see what happens in the third. The Grizzlies have been an outstanding team when leading after 2 periods. They're 26-2, but recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago to the date, Idaho ended up winning after trailing by 2 goals against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it was April 7th over at Idaho Central Arena. The Grizzlies had a 1-0 lead late in that game. Then they surrendered the next 2 goals late in the third to lose that game. So for the Grizzlies, you got to think that that's in the back of their mind, saying we can't let that happen again. And as I said before, I think Idaho is going to make some adjustments in the third and come out really aggressive. For the Grizzlies, you got to find a way to get that next goal because a 1-0 lead, I mean, that's the slimmest of all leads. All it takes is a tip out in front, a rebound here that's just put home. And just like that, the thing is tied. So for the Grizzlies, I like what they're doing so far, but they got to find a way to also be aggressive offensively and on the forecheck while still playing a tight defensive game like they've done through the first 40 minutes.
The best rivalry in the league for my money, the Grizzlies and the Steelheads, they met 18 times in the regular season, but yet you look at some of the roster moves that Utah has made, it almost feels like it's a different club than what Idaho has seen earlier in the year. As for Idaho, they've pretty much been the same unit. They don't have Jordan Kawaguchi in there, but it's pretty much been the same team that we saw at the start of the season. And it'll be interesting as the series progresses. The chess match between Everett Sheen, the Idaho head coach, and Ryan Kanasowicz, the Grizzlies head coach. I mean, who's going to make those key moves that ends up making the difference for either team? I think it was interesting to see the Grizzlies play with a little bit different style offensively than they did in the first period. Idaho responded after Utah took a few shots there in the first 6 minutes. This third period almost feels like, with both goaltenders being as good as they are, almost feels like who's going to make those key adjustments. Could end up making the difference.
Yeah, and you mentioned a chess match between 2 of the best coaches in the league. I'd say, Everett Sheen for the Steelheads has done a phenomenal job with that group. But Ryan Kanasowicz, I think, should be in the running for Coach of the Year just with the adversity that this Grizzlies team faced throughout the course of the season. He was able to really just retool them on the fly, shape them into the group that they are, to the point where they're in the playoffs here today, going toe-to-toe with the Idaho Steelheads. But you think about the meetings between the Grizzlies and the Steelheads in the regular season. The Grizzlies saw the Steelheads a ton up until January 16th. I mean, there was only 3 meetings after that. That was most recently 2 weeks ago, as you mentioned, on April 5th through the 8th. So that Steelheads team, they saw a lot of the Grizzlies in the first half of the season. It's a group that I would say isn't as strong as the Grizzlies are now. As I mentioned, Kanasowicz and Pike did a great job of adding players as the season went on. But, I mean, that was a totally different Grizzlies team. And you mentioned the Steelheads really haven't experienced a lot of change. So I think that gives the Grizzlies a major advantage here in this series, because for the Steelheads, you're not really too sure what you're going to get with the Grizzlies. And with the Grizzlies, you know exactly what you're getting in the Steelheads. So I'm sure Coach Kanasowicz and Coach Pike have had a lot of time to prepare for this Steelheads team in practice, and I think it's showing here so far in this game.
We'll see if the special teams ends up playing a factor in this third period. So we might be playing a little bit of 4-on-4 and doing a little bit of special teams work in the second period. As Patrick Cudlett got a high sticking minor, 18-31 in, and then Keaton Jamison got a tripping minor, 19-18 in. So Cudlett will come out of the box, and then Idaho will have a short power play. Then after that, the Grizzlies will be back to even strength, and that's going to be a critical part of this series. Can Utah get some power play goals in Idaho, and can the Grizzlies do a job on the penalty kill? And Idaho, we talked about at the start of the game, they had a good power play for the season, but they were 0 for 18 over their last 7 regular season games. Should be something to look out for in the third period. We'll see if either team gets a full 2-minute power play. Obviously, there's going to be some abbreviated power play work for Idaho early in the third period. Can the Grizzlies do the job on both the power play and penalty kill units to have that edge on Idaho in this series? It's game 1 of a best-of-7 set. Don't forget the game 2 is going to be on Friday night. It'll be the Grizzlies and the Steelheads over at Idaho Central Arena. And then there's going to be 4 days off between games 2 and 3. Don't forget at Maverick Center. Next Wednesday, April 26th, is going to be game 3. Get your tickets, UtahGrizzlies.com. or call 801-988-8000. That's going to be a 7:10 face-off. Friday, April 28th is going to be game 4, and then if necessary, Saturday, April 29th. But tickets won't go on sale for game 5 until we know for sure that game is going to be played. As it looks like it's going to be a fun series. The Grizzlies and the Steelheads, make sure you get your tickets at UtahGrizzlies.com. Looks like Joe Ernst is in the building over in Boise. He's being interviewed by Cam McGuire. And when we come back in 2 minutes, we'll have third period action as we're hanging out in the lobby at Maverick Center. We got a good watch party here at Maverick Center as well. And it looks like a good third period is in store as Utah leads Idaho 1-0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Maverick Center. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. The Grizzlies lead 1-0 over Idaho Central Arena. I guess for the viewers on YouTube, Guy dropped that second period goal that Dakota Raabe scored from out in front of the net as Utah Had the puck in the left point. Thomas fired away. Penner was in the area, and Raabe was the one that put it away.
I'm going to bring out the board. It's a playoff board now, and I'll do a good job for you viewers on Flow Sports just to give a good verbal description as well. But really, it was a great play for the Grizzlies. And Tyson, you talked about it earlier on. It's going to be one of those gritty goals where you have to go out in front of the net and make some magic happen. Who else but number 22, Dakota Raabe? I'm right-handed here, so we'll see how well this goes. But we've got Corey Thomas at the blue line, and he's going to fire a shot towards the goal. Now, Dakota Raabe is going to come streaking in from somewhere. It's hard to tell on these Flow Sports feeds really where he comes from. But he's out here in front of the net, and he's going to glove this Corey Thomas shot out in front of the net. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to fake out Adam Scheel. He's expecting this puck to go right to him as a laser from the blue line. He's going to be able to stop that. He's got a .932 save percentage on the season. He can stop that just fine.
Yep.
But what he isn't expecting is for Dakota Raabe to come flying in, glove down that puck, and put it right on his tape. And what Raabe's going to do is he's going to go right around Scheel, and he's going to find the back of the net. And really, it's those plays, Tyson, in the playoffs where if you're going to go out in front of the net and you're going to go in and make those driving to the net plays, you're going to get rewarded because, I mean, all it takes is just to tip out in front, a player to come streaking in, and you're going to find the puck on your stick like that, and you're going to score a big goal. So for the Grizzlies in the third period, that's the recipe to beat a guy like Adam Scheel. I mean, a guy with a .932 save percentage on the season, you give him those routine shots, he's going to stop them all day. You got to get creative. You got to go out in front of the net, drive to the net, and really make some plays happen. And that's what Dakota Raabe does in his first game back with the Grizzlies from injury.
The winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen Americans Kansas City Mavericks first-round Mountain Division semifinal series. Allen defeats Kansas City 3-2. So the Americans take a 1-0 series lead. When we come back in 30 seconds, we'll have third period action as the Grizzlies lead 1-0 over Idaho Central Arena on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Expectations here will always remain high, and we'll continue to find a way.
Guys put together a lot of good games, you know.
Should be a fun third period as the Grizzlies lead 1-0. Utah is 26-2 in the regular season when leading after two periods. Grizzlies did score first tonight. In the regular year, they went 24-7-1. And, Guy, I don't really think we can mention it too much, the impact that Dakota Raabe, who missed 1 month worth of action, the impact that him and Johnny Walker have had on this Grizzlies lineup.
These guys are special, Tyson, and their absence from the lineup was sorely missed. I mean, Dakota Raabe, we've seen so far in this game, he's got that speed, he's got that skill, knows where to be at the right times, and that's why he cashes in on that goal. But another guy that possesses the same abilities is Johnny Walker, and we've seen him go out in front of the net on occasion in this game, and really he's got a wicked shot. And oh, by the way, he's drawn a few penalties in this game as well. He's being a thorn in the side of the Idaho Steelheads. I think that's a physical presence that the Grizzlies lacked the last time that they faced the Steelheads. Now they got Johnny back in the lineup. I think it's doing a lot of wonders for the Grizzlies so far in this game.
Even though Trent Miner against Idaho went 1-6-1 in the regular season, he had a .911 save percentage and 3.12 goals against average against Idaho, which was about what he normally would average for the regular season against everybody else. He's seen 33 shots. He's been busy, but he's been awfully effective for Utah.
Yeah, he has, Tyson. And that's exactly what the Grizzlies needed coming to this game. I mean, for Trent Miner, he's going to have to be the MVP in this series. And he was voted team MVP in the regular season. And I don't think the Grizzlies make the playoffs without his stellar play. But, I mean, if the Grizzlies want a chance to even win this series or come close to winning it, Trent Miner's going to have to be on his A game. And so far, he's given the Grizzlies a chance to win.
A good Wednesday night crowd as the puck is dropped for the third period. Grizzlies skating from left to right, wearing the white jerseys with black numbers and professional green trim As the draw goes back deep in the Grizzlies zone after Utah won it, as Luke Martin will get it to Fizer. So we're skating 4-on-4. Grizzlies moving out to center ice. Grizzlies skate in big-time collision as Cutler goes down. He collided with Ducharme. Now Cutler, while he's on his backside, gets pushed by Ducharme as the play's still going on. As Cutler gets pushed by Ducharme again. As 5 seconds are left in the 4-on-4, Idaho in the attack zone. As Dawson Bardos skates towards the corner, he gets pushed by Martin. Cutler skates over to take the puck, but it goes to A.J. White. Now out of the penalty box is Idaho, and now we're skating 5-on-4. Cutler was the one that came out of the box as Luke Martin will sell it all the way towards Adam Shield, the Idaho goaltender. Steelheads are skating from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. Your mind's eye see it on YouTube. Grizzlies will skate from left to right as Matt Register gets to neutral ice. He'll skate towards his left. He'll drop it off as A.J. White crosses center. The Steelheads captain drops off in the right point. Idaho feeds it across, but it bounced off a Penner. Grizzlies cross center ice. Kyle Betts gets hit as he crossed the Idaho blue line. As Cutler spins it around, it's cut off by Register behind the net. 7 seconds left in Idaho's abbreviated power play as Register throws it to the near side off the screen as Idaho crosses center. And out of the penalty box is Cameron Wright, as it's a Utah disaster cleanup successful penalty kill, as the puck is shot from the right side and rolls back to Miner, who covers up. 18:35 left in the third, as Utah still leads 1-0. As there's a big collision between Ducharme, but the shot was taken from the right side, and then puck rolled back towards Pelton Bice, but he didn't get much on a backhand shot and rolled back towards Trent Miner. We talk about the technique of Trent Miner. He's not one of the bigger goalies you'll see at just 6'1" and 198 pounds. But he's very quick and agile. You can tell that he's always in the right place, and it seems like his technique is about as good as you'll see. Grizzlies win the draw. They'll lift it out to center ice. Idaho pokes it back towards the near boards. Action in the Steelhead zone as Hedrick will get it out to center ice. Betts has it for Utah. Now it goes back into the Grizzlies zone as Utah sets up from left to right. Grizzlies cross center. The Rooster enters from the left side. Now he veers off to the right. Rooster in the slot. Drops off for Betts, who swings and misses. Now it goes to Tho. High slot. Shot. Stick saved by Shield. Grizzlies have it, and they score! Puck bounced off the glass and into the crease. Kyle Betts puts it away to make it a 2-0 game. What a crazy play as the initial shot was taken from the high slot by Aaron Tho. It glanced off the stick of Shield. Puck went high into the air. It bounced in the crease, and Kyle Betts was the one that put it away. Well, it ended up at the top of the net and then rolled out in front, and Shield was in no position to make the save. A crazy goal as Utah has now gotten some insurance.
That's about as goofy as a goal as you'll ever see, Tyson. I mean, how often do you see the puck landing on the top of the net, really bouncing off, landing on the crease? Kyle Betts, right place, right time, is able to cash in, and that's his first goal with the Grizzlies all season long. Had 6 assists in 5 games in the regular season, and he's got the Grizzlies a 2-0 lead here.
What a crazy goal that was. As Shield tried to glove it from the glass, and he missed it, and it hit the top of the net and then bounced back in front of it, and Kyle Betts put it away. Looks like they're going to video replay. I'm guessing that Idaho would say that the puck hit the protective netting and that the puck was out of play. Hard to say from the camera angle we got. I don't know that they'd be able to make any sort of determination one way or another. And it looks like the goal is going to count. It's a good goal as Kyle Betts gets his first of the playoffs. He gets his first in a Grizzlies uniform this season. He had 1 goal in 40 AHL games at Belleville earlier this season. As Utah wins the draw, they lead 2-0 as Kyle Betts scored the goal, and I think Aaron Tho is going to get an assist. Grizzlies cross center and dump it in. As chasing after, it's Matt Register. As he'll skeet towards the near side, he'll chip it off the boards. Jamison holds the line. Now goes back to Casey Johnson. It will throw a right wing pass as Idaho enters. Right point, Steelheads trying to feed it out in front. It glanced off the stick and flies out of play with 17:46 left in the third. Well, you talk about needing something early in the third period. Grizzlies got that insurance there with Kyle Betts. It'll be interesting to see what Utah's strategy is here going forward.
Well, not only did they get that insurance goal, Tyson, I mean, we're not over at Idaho Central Arena. We're here at the Maverick Center, but I have to imagine that just sucked the life out of the building. I mean, I bet that crowd is dead quiet. I bet you could hear a pin drop in that arena. I mean, just a crazy goal, goofy goal. Really, that shouldn't happen for the Steelheads. It goes against them. 2-0 Grizzlies lead. Grizzlies need to build upon this momentum, add on to it, and make them pay.
Betts scored 154, and Tho and the Rooster Jordan Martell picked up the assists. So Martell got a point in all 10. He had a 10-game point scoring streak to end the regular season. I don't think the playoffs continue that stretch, but he now has a point in 11 straight. Utah wins the draw as Fitz will throw it into the Steelhead zone and chase after it. As the puck goes to the far corner, Idaho gets it. They skate around Adam Shields' net. As the Steelheads will get it to Zach Walker, who bounces off the near side. As Jade Miller skates towards the left circle, he's being shadowed by McDonald. Miller around the net, loses the puck as Fitz will backhand it to center ice. It's gloved by Idaho. As the Steelheads move it ahead, now they throw it back into their own zone for Casey Johnson, who had a Gordie Howe hat trick against the Grizzlies last year. He'll slide it to the far side. As Idaho gets it out to center, they cross the center red line. They'll dump it, but just to the Utah blue line. Grizzlies get it. Tarun Fizer skates down the middle. Veer off to the right circle. He'll chip it around the net. He didn't have a shooting angle. As Cutler loses it, goes back to Heiskanen, who feeds it to the far side. As Idaho moves it ahead, as the Steelheads from the right wing cross center ice. They'll chip it towards the middle, and the Grizzlies get a stick in the way. Good job, good defensive play by Shearer. As the puck bounces off the far boards, Idaho slides it ahead. As Becker couldn't reach it, Utah skates back into their own zone as the Grizz lead 2-0. 16:40 left in the third. As Martin throws it back towards Mayhew, he'll backhand it to center ice. It bounced off the Steelhead. Now it goes to Becker. He's around center ice. He'll slide it to the near side for Misiak. Misiak gets it. He'll skate towards the corner. Martin delivers a hit as Misiak keeps his feet. As Nolan Ritchie skates over there. 2-on-2 scrum in the near corner of Utah's zone. And coming out of it's Tarun Fizer. He'll carry it out to center ice, and he'll dump it behind Matt Register, and it goes deep into the Steelhead zone as Register reaches and gets it near the Idaho goal line. He'll move it out to A.J. White, who will throw it behind Ducharme. It gets it near Utah's bench. He dumps it in. Miner behind his net will throw it to the far side. 4 minutes into the third period, Utah leads 2-0. Grizzlies lifting out to center. The Rooster overskates the puck at the Idaho blue line as Register chips it ahead to A.J. White, the Steelheads captain. Left wing pass bounces off of Murphy's stick. He gets around, though, as the puck in the far corner. Murphy chases after. He tried to center it, but it stayed in the corner. Now Utah gathers it as the Grizz throw it to the center ice logo. Bardo fumbles it as it goes to the Idaho blue line. As Bardo will drop it off for Ducharme as Bardo got hit by the Rooster at the Idaho blue line. As the Steelheads in the far corner have a long way to go as they're down 2-0. Grizzlies have the puck. They try to get it to Walker down the middle, and Idaho cuts it off. As the puck goes to A.J. White, it gets pushed by Betts, who scored Utah's second goal. It goes out to center ice. McDonald gathers it. He'll throw it across. As Utah in Steelheads territory, Johnny Walker dumps it in. Jamison skates to the near corner, but Hedrick throws it back towards Colton Keller. Keller gets hit by Walker. Now Register loses it. Walker over to Jamison. Slot, righty shot. Saved by Shield. 15:03 left in the third. Utah leads 2-0, but it's not like a normal team who leads by 2 goals and they're just sitting back. The Grizzlies are being the aggressor, trying to get that third goal.
Exactly, Tyson. I really like the way that the Grizzlies came out to start this third period. Really have been playing with a purpose, not sitting back, just putting pedal to the metal, really taking it to the Steelheads. I mean, offense is the best defense. As long as the Grizzlies stay in the Steelhead zone, Steelheads can't score.
Idaho wins the draw 5 minutes into the third period. Steelheads skate from right to left as they cross center ice. Idaho dumps it in. Shearer chases after it. He gets hit by Colton Keller as Idaho feeds it to the right point. Owen Hedrick, righty shot, and it's blocked out in front of Miner. Grizzlies will clear it out. Jamison chases after it. It goes to Kudla. Now Utah gathers it. Raabe skates towards the right circle. He fanned on passing it. Now he gets to Martin. Right wing sharp angled shot hits the side of the net as Idaho will carry it out of the zone. As Domowski crosses center, he veers off to the right. Domowski steps over the line. Right wing lefty shot and it rolls back off the end boards. Fitz kicks it to the corner. Idaho chases after it. They get there first. Over to Zach Walker. He'll chip it to the right side for Heiskanen. As Heiskanen rolls it around the boards, it goes to the corner. As Walker gets hit by Shearer, puck goes back over to Heiskanen. He's in the right circle. Take a righty shot. He didn't get much on it. As Jamison cut in front of him. Now in front of the net, Martin slides it ahead to Fitz, who will tap it off the near glass. And Idaho gathers it at their blue line as Misiak with great speed crosses center. Misiak gains the line, skates towards the right circle. Take a shot and it rolls off the end boards. He ain't get much on it. Now he gets it back. As Misiak being shadowed by Kyle Mayhew. As Misiak glides into Jade Miller. He tried to slither it out in front to Walker and it bounced off of Penner's skate. As the puck goes back to Utah, as the Rooster will backhand it out to center ice. Idaho races and gets it back at their blue line. As the Steelheads will cross center ice. As Martel knocked him down, no call. As Penner will bounce off the Steelhead. It's in the Grizzlies zone. Miller skates to the corner. He gets hit by Tho. As Idaho keeps it, Miller gets taken away by Mayhew. As the puck goes from one corner to the other, it's now to the far side. Right point, righty shot. Saved by Miner. And Trent holds on. 13-15 left in the third. Utah leads 2-0 as Kyle Betts scored a crazy goal about 2 minutes into the third. Utah leads 2-0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account.
Utah leads 2-0 as Kyle Betts scored a crazy goal as it bounced off the stick of Shield and hit the end glass, and then ended up towards the top of the net. Shield couldn't glove it, and then puck just ended up laying in front of the net, and Betts put it away.
Wacky goal, Tyson. That's one that you see on like a blooper reel where it's just, that shouldn't have happened. But it goes in the Grizzlies' favor, and as a result of that, 2-0 lead, and they're sitting comfortably, but they're not sitting back.
Grizzlies win the draw. They're in their own zone as the puck goes to the left point. Idaho gets it. They fire towards the net. It goes wide. Grizzlies drifted towards the far side as Idaho's outshot Utah 36-21. Idaho skates towards their left. Backhand shot goes wide as Idaho skates towards the left point. They're still in the attack zone as Ducharme gets pushed by Kyle Betts. And the puck exits the zone as Idaho will back it out into their own end as Bardo will skate towards the far side. He gets back checked by Wright. As Bardo loses his balance, Grizzlies will lift it towards the center ice logo, and Utah taps it towards the near boards. It goes back to Ducharme as he's being shadowed by the Rooster Martell, who scored an assist in the Betts goal. As A.J. White crosses center ice, and he'll backhand it in. Luke Martin chases after it. He gets it behind Miner's net. He'll skeet towards the near side. He'll move it over to the Rooster, who drives out to center ice. He gets picked off. Now it goes back over as Idaho. Puck exchanges hands a couple times. Now Kublik crosses center ice. Now he gains the blue line to the right wing. He'll get it back to Jade Miller. Button hooks in the right point. He'll throw it to Hedrick. High slot, righty shot. And it goes wide as puck ends up along the near boards. Becker tries to get it back to the point. Now he skates over there as Miller skates to the corner. Mayhew boxes him out. As Idaho still with the puck in the corner as Becker gets around Nolan Ritchie. Make that Willie Nierum. Left wing shot. Saved by Miner. Trent holds on with 11:57 left in the third. Oh, no, it looks like Miner's hurt. The trainer, Colin Lee, is going to have to go chase after him. As Nierum took the shot from the left side. Boy, that'd be a big loss as Nierum skates over to his left. He took a shot, and hopefully Miner just needs a minute as, boy, he looks like he's being looked over. You're hoping it's kind of a middle body injury. But boy, it looks like Miner's shaking up pretty good.
Yeah, Tyson, I mean, I don't want to speculate on this play, but maybe that puck caught Trent Miner up high as he does have his mask off. We'll see. But if he's not able to go, that's a big loss for the Grizzlies. I mean, he's been lights out so far in this game. Hate to see him go down.
Yeah, it does look like they're looking towards his face as Colin Lee, the Grizzlies trainer, looking at his forehead. Well, I told Colin Lee's wife as she was walking out of the office today, I said, I hope we don't see Colin at any point during this game because the only time we'll ever see Colin Lee is if there's an injury. Nierum took the shot from the left side, and it must have rolled up on Miner. Didn't look like the shot initially hit him in the helmet, but then it just kind of came up and got him. And then they stopped play as Miner took his glove off. Looked like he was really shaken up. Miner is now on two knees. Colin Lee, the Grizzlies trainer. I would say he's sporting a playoff beard, but he's been growing a beard all year long. Guy and I have I got a playoff beard. Looks like you got a playoff mustache.
I went with the playoff mustache.
Just like Johnny Walker and Luke Martin and Keaton Jamison. Looks like Miner is on 2 feet, and he's going to get a swig of water. Looks like he's going to stay in the game. 11:57 left in the third, and you talk about Trent Miner and the importance he's made to the Grizzlies over the last 2 years. This year he is voted team MVP.
Oh, he's team MVP for a reason, Tyson. I mean, as I said before, I don't think the Grizzlies are in a position to be even in the playoffs if Trent Miner doesn't play the way he plays throughout the course of the season. So he's the MVP, and it's good to see him stay in net here for the Grizzlies.
Draw one by the Grizzlies. They're still in their own zone as Mayhew throws it across the throw, glides it ahead. Puck to neutral ice as Idaho loses their balance. Mayhew with a left wing pass as Utah enters. Raabe throws to the corner and chases after it. Raabe collides with Kudla. Puck goes back to Jamison, the near side. Jamison in the corner as action in the Steelhead zone. He gets pushed by Jade Miller. Miller nudges out to center ice, but it's taken by Tho, who gains center ice from the left wing and dumps it in. Tho was a plus 16 over his last 28 games as Idaho moves it ahead. Steelheads get to neutral ice. They cross center and dump it in. Raabe delivers a hit as the puck goes to the left corner. Tho gets knocked down, no call, as he got hit pretty awkwardly. Well, it looked like hopefully he's back to his feet. He is. Puck's still in place. Tho's back to his feet as play continues. 11:09 and counting left in the third. Utah leads 2-0 as Dakota Raabe scored late in the second period, and about 2 minutes into the third, Kyle Betts made it 2-0. Grizzlies cross center. They dump it into the corner. Betts chases after it. He played with Belleville, 40 games in the AHL this year. As right over to the left side, fires towards net. It's bounced off a Steelhead as it goes to Casey Johnson. He skates down the middle. Johnson ships it to his right. Thomas chases after it. Thomas and Johnson collide in the corner. Ty Pelton skates over there. Coming out of the pile is the captain, Connor McDonald. He'll get to Martell, slides it towards his left. Grizzlies cross center. Right over to Betts. Left circle. Shot saved by Shield. Betts gets the rebound. He'll throw it up top. As Grizzlies, Corey Thomas with a shot and it goes wide. And play stops as it looked like Shield was in position. Heiskanen pushes Cameron Wright. As Wright kind of laughs it off. Martell on the ice as well. Keller skating towards Cameron Wright. Scott DeBaugh, the linesman, make sure that no Steelhead gets to Cameron Wright. 10:26 left in the third. 2-0 Grizzlies. The shot was taken. I think it bounced off the protective netting and went out of play. And then Wright kind of tapped Casey Johnson. And then Heiskanen pushed Cameron Wright. Draws going to be in the Steelhead zone. Cameron Wright's one of those guys. He'll get under the opposing team's skin. As it draws to the far side, taking it is Nolan Ritchie. As a draw won by Idaho. Register spins along to the near side as Idaho will chip it off the near glass. It goes out to center as one-on-one battle. Grizzlies come up with it. Utah from the left wing. They dump it in. As chasing after it is Pardo. Out to the near side as A.J. White moves it ahead as it goes to Ducharme. Rink wide pass connects as he still has skate towards the right circle. Righty shot goes wide as Ducharme along the near side loses the puck as Cutler was trying to skate it out as Murphy takes it away. Now Luke Martin throws it back to the Idaho blue line as we're halfway through the third period. 9:47 and counting left in the third. Utah leads 2-0 as Matt Register skates to the near side. Register chips it ahead as puck bounced off the stick of Jade Miller. As Penner throws it back to Tho. He'll glide it across to Mayhew. Mayhew to center ice. Grizzlies enter. As Utah, Penner will chip it to the corner as Penner chases after it. Puck goes back to Idaho. They skate to the near side as Idaho looking for their first goal as Miller slides it across. It bounced off the boards. Idaho to the right side. Skates towards the corner. Now they chip it around as Misiak lets it go to the left point. Someone off the screen will throw it to the corner as Zach Walker chases after it. He gets double teamed as a big hit, a big collision. As now Raabe moves it ahead to the near side as Penner slides it. Turnover as Idaho will skate back towards the corner that was vacated. Heiskanen rolls it along behind Utah's net. Heiskanen gets the puck. He had a big game against Utah 2 weeks ago. He gets hit and gets divorced from the puck as Utah lifts it out to center. It goes back to Idaho as Johnson will chip it ahead to Misiak. He'll skate into the right side, but everybody stops skating as Idaho's called off sides. 8:45 left in the third. Utah leads 2-0. We're back in 30 seconds on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps.
Utah leads 2-0. Grizz looking to protect this lead. Guy, what have you seen so far in the third?
Really great period for the Grizzlies so far, Tyson. I like the way that they've played aggressively. They got that insurance goal, making it 2-0. I think the question right now is how aggressive will Idaho be as this period winds down? They got to get some goals on the board. So I think that they're going to start getting creative to really try and push the narrative in the Grizzlies zone. For the Grizzlies, you got to find a way to stand them up and keep this thing in your favor.
8:44 left in the third. Time can't run fast enough from the Grizzlies' perspective. Utah wins the drop. They'll slide it out to the center ice logo. Niram picks it off as they're looking for the rooster. Pass ahead as it goes to the left wing as Jack Becker skates in. Left side, backhand shot. Saved by Miner. And after the whistle, some pushing and shoving as Becker over there along with the rooster. Corey Thomas. Grizzlies doing what they can to protect Utah's net. 8:30 and counting left in the third. Idaho has outshot Utah 5-4 in the third period and 38-22 for the contest. As Becker skated into the left side, they show a replay. Innocent looking shot, but then it looked like Idaho had a guy cut in front of Trent Miner, and that's where all the commotion started. As Utah doing what it can to protect its goaltender. As the draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone as Jade Miller talks things over with Colton Keller. Now Miller will skate over to the left side and talk with Willie Niram. Miller will take the draw against Keaton Jamison. 8:30 and counting left in the third. Utah leads 2-0. As the draw, the Pepsi logo is the face-off dot, and it's won by Idaho as Niram nudges up top for register. Back to Niram. He's just outside the left circle. Take a shot, and it gets redirected. Miner falls down. Grizzlies get the rebound. Fitz will clear it out to center. As Register gets it, he'll peel back into his own zone. Now a slice of right wing passes. Idaho will dump it into the corner as Miller chases after it. Fitz and McDonald in the area. Fitz has the puck at his ankle. He's trying to break free as he gets pushed in the back by Keller. Now it goes to Idaho. We'll chip it up top for Register. He's in the left point, 8 minutes left. He'll throw it to the right corner. Keller gets it. Keller slides it around Utah's net. Niram skates to the corner. He gets the puck as he gets pushed by Jamison. As Miller gets hit in the back by McDonald. Grizzlies get it. Jamison throws it to Raabe. It goes out to center ice. Raabe gets pushed as Keller throws it to the center ice logo. Bounced off of Fitz, and Idaho gets it. Steelheads with a left wing pass to Ducharme. Left wing shot saved by Miner. Rebound goes to Utah. They'll lift it over the head of Ducharme, and it goes out of play. Is that going to be delay of game? I think it is. Yeah, it's going to be delay of game on the Grizzlies as they threw it towards the Idaho bench. Did it tap off the glass? I don't know that it did. Looks like delay of game is going to be called on Utah, and Idaho is going to be on the power play.
Oh, that is exactly what you do not want to happen right now, Tyson, if you're the Grizzlies. I mean, you can't take a penalty here at this point in the game. Oh, that's just tough.
But maybe it chipped off the glass. Looked like they said it hit off the glass. No penalty.
Oh, that's good.
Grizzlies fans, you can breathe a sigh of relief. We're skating 5-on-5. Grizzlies win the face-off. They clear it out to center. Cutler throws to the right side. Idaho enters. As they skate towards the corner, Ritchie holds him up. Cutler in the area, so is Luke Martin. As Idaho glides to the left point, they feed it across, bounced off a Hedrick's stick. It stays in play as Ducharme skates towards the corner. As he gets the puck, he gets pushed by Martin. Puck stays at the ankle of Ducharme as Martin holds him up. It goes back to Idaho. They feed it to the right point. Righty shot, and it's blocked as Ritchie was in the area, so is Cutler. As the puck to the right side, Cutler pushes Idaho along the boards, goes back over towards Cutler. He gets hit by Fizer. Fizer lifts it in the air and it exits the zone. Looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies as the whistle blows with 6:43 left in the third. Good defensive effort by the Grizzlies. They're winning some of those 50-50 battles along the boards.
Yeah, they are, Tyson. That's one of the reasons why the Grizzlies have the lead in this game is they're winning those battles to the pucks. I mean, every time there's a 50-50 puck, the Grizzlies are contesting it. They're winning races, 2 pucks loose along the board. So it's really just those little things in the game that the Grizzlies are doing right. And as a result of that, they have a 2-0 lead.
Draws in the nearest circle. Nolan Ritchie will take it, and it's won by Idaho's. Zach Walker in the far corner spins it around. Now I try to chip it out in front, and Domowski didn't get much on a one-timer. Puck goes to the left point. Johnson keeps it in. Across to Heiskanen. He'll roll it along. Pelton Bice feeds it out in front. Fizer chips it back to the far corner. As Cutler battles along the wall with Domowski. Fizer chases after it, and the puck exits the zone. It goes deep into the Idaho end. Schill out of his crease will outlet it back to the Grizzlies zone. Over to the right point. Righty shot. Stick saved by Miner. The puck stays in play. Domowski throws to the corner. About 6 minutes left in regulation. Utah leads 2-0. Grizzlies get it. Kyle Betts crosses center ice. He'll skate towards the left side. Betts will take a lefty shot. Saved by Schill. He holds on, but great end-to-end action as Kyle Betts just kind of skated towards his happy spot in the left circle and fired a lefty shot. Chill made the save with 5:56 left in the third. We'll come back in 30 seconds and tell you how this one ends as Utah leads Idaho 2-0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network. .56 left in regulation. Utah leads 2-0 as Dakota Raabe got the Grizz on the board to seize the Optum first goal of the game score. 16:07 into the second period. Penner and Thomas with the assists. The Grizz extended the lead to 2-0 as Kyle Betts scored 1:54 into the third period. Tho and Martell with the assists. And despite the fact that Idaho has outshot Utah 41-23, neither team scored a power play goal. Utah's 0 for 2 on the power play. Idaho 0 for 4. Grizz have held strong as Trent Miner's had an outstanding game. Draws in the Steelhead zone on the far side as Kyle Betts took a shot before we went to break. Betts wins it as Mayhew throws it around the boards. Utah could use some insurance here as Cameron Wright gets held up. Wright had 9 game-winning goals this season, which tied for the league lead. Idaho comes out of the scrum of the puck as they'll skeet towards their blue line. Now they'll lift it from one blue line to the other. Domowski behind Utah's net will skeet to the corner. He gets it. Still throw it back up top for Register. Register will skeet towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot. It goes wide as he was looking for a redirection as Bardo throws it back around Utah's net. Still to the near side as Tho delivers a hit. Near him skeets over there. So is Kyle Betts. The puck just kind of laying along the wall as Betts lifts it out towards Tyler Penner. Make that the Rooster Martell. As Register throws to the right side, Bardo fires towards the net. It's blocked in the slot. Puck goes back to Bardo. He'll skeet towards his left. He'll drop it off for Register. He's in the left point. He'll skeet towards his right. As Register now on the right point being shadowed by Martell. Register feeds it back to the far corner. They try to chip it to near him out in front. He couldn't reach it. As the Grizzlies clear it out to center. Goes back to Bardo. He couldn't handle it at the Idaho blue line. He'll have to skeet to the Idaho goal line to get it. Bardo, who's got an NHL entry-level deal, moves it ahead. The Steelheads cross center ice on the right wing. They dump it in as puck rolls to the far corner. Thomas gets hit by Keller as Grizzlies get it back towards Thomas. As Penner gets held up along the far wing boards, he tries to clear it. It stays in the right point. Now Penner skates over there and nudges it back to center ice. Idaho with the puck, 4:22 and counting left in the third as Casey Johnson back in front of Idaho's net. We'll throw it to the far side as Idaho chips it towards Johnson. As he gets to the Idaho blue line, he'll move it back to the Utah blue line. Pelton Bice couldn't reach it. McDonald skeets to the corner, and he'll move it back to Corey Thomas. Thomas trying to throw it back to the other corner. Idaho gets tripped up by Thomas. No call as McDonald around the net will spin it to the near side as the Steelheads couldn't cut it off in the point, and it goes back into Idaho's zone. Less than 4 minutes left in regulation. Utah leads 2-0. As Idaho crosses center ice, Johnson skates down the middle. He'll chip it to his left for Domowski, who couldn't glove it. Grizzlies trying to clear it out. Pelton Bice keeps it in. Johnson over to Domowski. Left side shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound shot. No goal as Becker was looking at the doorstep, but he missed it wide. As Fizer to the far side will chip it out to center ice. It's regathered by Bardo. As Bardo back deep in the Steelhead zone. As he'll spin it along the wall. We're about 2 minutes away from Idaho pulling their goaltender for the extra attacker. Grizzlies get it. They skate towards the left side. As Utah over in the corner. Time's on their side. 3:15 and counting. Grizzlies in the left point. Cutler around the boards. Utah tries to feed it out in front. It goes back to Cutler. High slot. Lefty shot is blocked. Now Ritchie, right side shot goes wide. Fizer in the left corner. Lets it go to the point. As Shearer back to Cutler, who feeds out to the left side for Ritchie. He'll take a shot. Stick saved by Shield. As rebound goes towards the near corner, Idaho feeds it back to the far side as Johnson in the corner will move it ahead to center ice. And the pass didn't connect. 2:46 and counting. As Miner behind his net will play it. As Mayhew gets it poked away, goes back towards the far corner. Idaho chasing after it. Steelheads' net is empty as Register throws it back to the far side. Now to Nearham, left circle. He centers it. It bounced off a Grizzly. Utah listen out to the high slot as Hedrick will bounce it off of Kyle Betts. As Betts drags down Hedrick, Martell fires towards the empty net and it goes wide. 2:18 and counting left in the third. Martell fires the empty net again and is blocked by Register. Register behind Idaho's net. As 2:10 and counting left in the third. Utah's up 2-0. Idaho moves into the attack zone as they skate towards the corner. As Nearham gets dragged by Mayhew. Martell behind the net, chips into the corner. Cameron Wright moves ahead to Jamison. He crosses center ice. Jamison over to Martell. He'll fire to the empty net, and he scores! This baby's in the refrigerator as Jordan Martell scores on the empty net, and Utah's taking a 3-0 lead. What a complete team effort by the Grizzlies. They smelled blood as Idaho emptied the net, and Jamison skated out to center ice. He moved it to Martell, who gathered it at the Idaho blue line, and he put it away. What an effort by the Grizzlies tonight as they're going to take the first game of this set.
Exactly as you said, Tyson. Full team effort started with a great game in net for Trent Miner. Defensive scheme, all defensemen played well for the Grizzlies in this game, and they got scoring when scoring was needed, and capped off by who else? Jordan Martell.
It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads nothing. Draw at center ice. 154 is left in regulation. As I think back in net is Adam Scheel. Idaho wins the draw. They dump it in. As Jade Miller battles in the corner. Now goes to Utah. As the Grizz get knocked down at the Utah blue line. It goes back to Idaho. Back pedals into their own zone. Now they'll chip it to the left side as Keller moves to the corner. Jade Miller chases after it. He collides with Corey Thomas. The glass goes shaking as Thomas battles with Miller. And goes back towards the near side. Grizzlies get it. They'll carry it out to center ice. As Ritchie crosses center, right wing pass to Walker, who spins along the wall. As there's 1:17 left in the third. Utah leads 3-0. Grizzlies won the first game of all three playoff series they were in last year. As Idaho throws a blue line to blue line pass, it connects with Nearham. He loses it, and Fizer moves it ahead. It goes over to Cutler, who skates down the middle. Cutler veers off to the left. He collides with Bardo. And Cutler loses the puck as it goes to Misiak on the near side. Less than a minute left. He'll throw it to the right side. Idaho steps over the line. They'll skeet towards the right side. They'll take a shot that goes wide as the puck glides towards the near side and out to center ice. As Idaho will feed it ahead. Right wing, pass connects. As Idaho skeets towards the circle. I tried to chip it across to Misiak, and it bounced off a Grizzly. Utah clears it out to center, and it goes into the Steelhead zone. No icing, or is there? There is icing on the Grizzlies. 33 seconds left in the third. And it's Utah 3 and Idaho nothing. I was going to come back towards Trent Miner, who was voted the team MVP this season. Last year, he led the league with 7 shutouts. As Idaho trying to somehow get on the board here in the final half minutes. What an effort by the Grizzlies tonight. Raabe, Betts, and Martell had Utah's goals. Draws on the near side, and it's won by the Grizz. Utah will tap it off the near glass, and it goes past Matt Register deep in the Steelhead zone. As it looks like icing is going to be called on the Grizzlies, this time with 26.1 seconds left in regulation. What an effort tonight.
This is going to be a heck of a series, Tyson. I said that after the end of the Oilers series, and it's looking good for the Grizzlies so far. Great game all around. Really just perfect game from the Grizzlies here today, and you really couldn't have asked for much more.
Game 2 will be on Friday night over at Idaho Central Arena. As the Grizzlies win the draws, they're over to the corner. As Utah gets hit, and that's Tarun Fizer. What a story he's been. Idaho chips it out in front and bounced off a stick. As Utah battling, 13 seconds left. White over there with Cutler. As the puck stays just outside the circle, now goes up top for Hedrick on the right side. He'll spin it around as it goes to the near corner. 5 seconds left. Murphy centers it. Shot by White goes wide. And Trent Miner gets the shutout. Grizzlies win. Grizzlies win 3-0, and there is no doubt about it. As back-to-back shutouts for Trent Miner. It's his first postseason clean sheet. As after the whistle, Brandon Cutler and Justin Ducharme exchanged some words. But what an effort as he scored. The game was scoreless halfway through. Then Dakota Raabe late in the second period scored. Kyle Betts added some insurance about 2 minutes into the third period. And then Jordan Martell got an empty netter. But what a great defensive effort as the shutout king does it again. A clean sheet by Trent Miner. He stopped all 31 shots he saw on April 15th. And tonight, he just saw one look after another. Let's see what the final count is on shots for the Idaho Steelheads, as it was a big-time shutout. 42 shots was seen by Miner. He stopped them all. As there wasn't many shots in the third period. Idaho had 9 and Utah had 6. But what an effort by the Grizzlies. They win game 1 of the best-of-7 series. Final score, Utah 3, Idaho nothing. Guy, what a great start to the postseason run.
It's time for a deep playoff run, and everybody counted them out. The Grizzlies showed up here today. Phenomenal team effort. Every single member of this team, from the coaching staff down, really was on their A game here today, and as a result, the Grizzlies take down the Steelheads in game 1.
Idaho lost 4 games at home in the regular season. The Grizzlies were responsible for 3 of them. And in game 1 of the first round Mountain Division semifinal series, Utah comes away with a 3-0 victory. It's rare to see Idaho, who led the league in goals per game, and they led the league in total goals. Rare to see them get shut out the way they have. But not only did they get shut out, they got shut out in their own barn by the Grizzlies shutout king, as Trent Miner does it again. 42 save shutout by Miner. He should be the number 1 star of the game, as Utah got goals from Dakota, Raabe, Kyle Betts, and Jordan Martell. Post-game show starts in 30 seconds. Once again, the final score from Idaho Central Arena. It's the Utah Grizzlies 3 and the Idaho Steelheads nothing. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Sweet victory for the Grizzlies in game 1 of the Mountain Division semifinal series. Trent Miner gets a 42 save shutout. He's got 10 shutouts in the regular season for the Grizzlies. You can add a postseason clean sheet. It's a rare shutout because Idaho, well, they don't get shut out very often.
Tyson, you want to guess how many times the Steelheads got shut out in the regular season?
2.
None. They did not get shut out in the regular season. So the Grizzlies were one of the few teams that were able to take care of Idaho in Idaho Central Arena. They manhandle them here today. It's Idaho's first shutout in the 2022-2023 campaign. Shutout against that is Trent Miner. Fantastic game in it. Really made a save when a save was needed. Gave the Grizzlies a chance to win. And as a result, the Grizzlies in front of him played great. And the Grizzlies did come away with a 3-0 victory.
The game was scoreless for the majority of the first 2 periods. Nobody scored in the first period. Idaho outshot Utah 15-8. In the second period, the Steelheads had the edge 18-10. But the first goal of the game was scored by Dakota Raabe on a rebound out in front. That's right, Raabe is back after missing exactly 1 month worth of action. He last played on March 19th against Allen, and Raabe came back and made his presence felt with his speed and playmaking ability. He got his first of the series, first in the playoffs, 16:07 in. Tyler Penner and Corey Thomas with the assist. And that's to feel sweet for Corey Thomas, who was released by the Steelheads after training camp this season. Raabe was part of the Grizzlies' playoff run last year. He had 2 goals and 4 assists in 14 playoff games for the Grizzlies in 2022. Early third period, the shot was taken by Aaron Tho from the high slot. It bounced off the stick of Adam Shield, stayed in play, and then it bounced off the glass, I guess. And then Shield tried to glove it at the top of the net. He couldn't. It bounced off the top of the net and then bounced in front. And Kyle Betts was in the right place at the right time. He put it away for his first of the series. And first in a Grizzlies uniform this season, Kyle Betts appeared in all 18 playoff games for the Grizzlies last year, and he had 5 goals and 5 assists. Betts got the big insurance goal with Tho and Martell getting the assists. And then late in the third period, it was still 2-0. Idaho had pulled Adam Shield for the extra attacker, and Jordan Martell It was really Keaton Jamison that made that play, carrying it out of the zone. He got to center ice, and they moved it ahead to Jordan Martell, got it at the Idaho blue line, and he had just enough room to fire away, and he scored 18:06 into the third with Jamison getting the assist. So that Keaton Jamison was outstanding tonight. He was a +2 and had 2 shots. And it's another multiple-point game for the Rooster, who's the reigning league player of the week. He had 1 goal and 1 assist last Wednesday against Tulsa, and then he had 3 assists in each of Utah's last 2 regular season games. Martell with 1 goal, 1 assist. He was a +2. He had 3 shots. He should be one of the 3 stars of the game. But it looks like they got the 3 stars. It'll be interesting to see who they are. But it looks like Trent Miner should be up there. And the Grizzlies come away with a 3-0 victory. Idaho did outshoot Utah 10-6 in the third period. Looked like they gave Idaho a shot at the end. So it's actually a 43-save shutout by Trent Miner. As Guy mentioned, it's the first time that Idaho's been shut out all season. They did not get shut out at all in the regular campaign. And for Trent Miner, the shutout king does it again. He had a 31-save clean sheet against Tulsa on April 15th. And 4 days later, does it again against the best team in the league. And Guy, I think that because the Grizzlies played Idaho 18 times in the regular season, they know that Idaho is an outstanding team, but they also know that with some of the additions they've made, and they also know with Trent Miner, who looks like he's got his A game right now, I don't think you can really, you talk about guys who didn't play for the Grizzlies as of 3 weeks ago. They ended up making the difference. Miner was outstanding, but Kyle Betts has really made a big time impact. The Roosters really emerged over the last month, and Dakota Raabe, getting him back, he made an impact as he ended up with the game-winning goal as he got the opt-in first goal of the game. And that turned out to be the game winner. And I think getting Johnny Walker back is certainly good, adding depth to the forward line as well. You can't underestimate all the things that are just going right for the Grizzlies to not only win game 1, but it kind of feels like here the rest of the series, looks like Utah is going to be right in there against a team that's got the best record in the league.
Absolutely, Tyson. And I think we got to give a whole ton of credit to Ryan Kanasowicz and Jared Pike. I mean, I mentioned before in earlier parts of the broadcast that they really did a great job of just retooling this team on the fly. I think the Grizzlies were a little bit disappointing in the first half of the season. I think we were all disappointed with the way the Grizzlies played up until about January. Just a team that was underperforming, was dealing with injuries, call-ups, and it was those guys' duty to really bring in new players, new blood to this team. And they did just that. You mentioned that February 11th turnaround. That's when we started seeing new guys enter this lineup. And as a result of that, it's a totally different Grizzlies team than what we saw in the first half of the season. And I mentioned January and February because the Grizzlies and the Steelheads met 15 times before that.
Yep.
And ever since then, the Steelheads and the Grizzlies have only met 3 times, and that was 2 weeks ago. You mentioned before how the Steelheads really haven't changed a whole lot throughout the course of the season, really didn't do a whole lot at the trade deadline. We're really content with their group, and they had a good reason to be. I mean, they broke the wins record, so they were doing something right. But for the Grizzlies, you scout the Steelheads, you know exactly what you're going to get. For the Steelheads, you scout the Grizzlies. That's not the same team you saw in January 15 times. It's a whole different team playing with a whole different scheme. And for the Grizzlies, you got to tip your cap to that coaching staff because they did great work. And as a result of that, the Grizzlies come in here and steal game 1. But I have to think that they got to watch their backs. The Steelheads team is going to be angry coming into game 2. But, man, what a statement win for the Grizzlies. And you got to be smiling here in the Salt Lake Valley or wherever you are if you're a Grizzlies fan with the performance that the Grizzlies showed out here with tonight.
According to the box score, the third star of the game, Zach Walker. Zach Walker at zeros across the board. According to the box score, he's the third star. Attaboy, Zach Walker, way to go. All zeros. Kind of looked like Tony Snell, the hockey version of that. Zach Walker is the number 3 star. You know what? We'll say that the number 3 star is the Rooster, Jordan Martell. 1 goal, 1 assist. He's the real number 3 star. Number 2 star is Dakota Raabe. He scored what turned out to be the game winner. 16:07 into the second period. Raabe a +1 and had 1 shot. He made it count. Great to have Dakota Raabe back after missing a month. He was the opt-in first goal of the game scorer. I imagine there's a few opt-in first goal of the game score winners.
There are a few of those,
Dakota
Tyson.
Raabe.
Dakota Raabe did get the first goal of tonight's game. We've got 3 winners here today. So 3 winners. We got Peach Fuzz 27, Jerry Naylor, and Novistic. All 3 of you correctly picked Dakota Raabe to get the first goal of the game. Now, Peach Fuzz says if he wins, he wants a Tyson Whiting bumper sticker. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that would look like.
Who knows?
I don't know. What's your favorite phrase that you have? Your signature line. Maybe we put that on a bumper sticker. Maybe a T-shirt.
It's hard to say. It could be it is what it is. It could be Grizzlies winning. There's no doubt about it. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can go up with. A lot
of really good things. But, I mean, got 3 winners for the first goal of the game. And really, Dakota Raabe coming back into the lineup. I mean, that's just a huge addition. I really felt like the lineup, while the Grizzlies did a really good job of inserting youth into the lineup, I mean, you can't replace the speed of Dakota Raabe. And so to have him back, have Johnny Walker back, that's huge for the Grizzlies. And I think that's part of why they came away with the win here tonight.
Number 1 star, no doubt it's Trent Miner with a 43 save shutout. Trying to think if he had any shutouts against Idaho last season. We know he had 7 last season. I've got it listed. And it looked like he had 2 shutouts. Or actually had, I'm looking at the best home records, the home attendances. Trent Miner, you talk about all the shutouts. He had 3 shutouts against Idaho last season. He shut out Idaho 21 shots on October 24th, 2021. He also had a 30-save clean sheet against Idaho on March 18th of 2022. And he had a 32-save shutout at Idaho on April 9th. So it's the 4th shutout against the Steelheads all-time for Trent Miner. It won't count in terms of regular season records. Obviously, Trent Miner, 10 shutouts in a Utah uniform and 11 pro shutouts. But you're getting one in the postseason certainly is huge. And I think if you're a Grizzlies fan, you hope that sets the tone for the rest of the series, as it wasn't just a victory for the Grizzlies, but the way they played defensively, it feels like something that can withstand the entire series. I mean, it doesn't really matter what kind of adjustments Idaho makes. If the Grizzlies get the type of performance they got from Trent Miner tonight, and if the defensive unit does the job protecting its crease and protecting those centering passes out in front and forcing Idaho, even though they took 43 shots to force them to the perimeter, I think the Grizzlies, this could end up being not a one-game fluke. It feels like the Grizzlies could be in this series to the end.
I think so too, Tyson. I mean, I said a couple of months ago that this is the worst possible matchup for the Steelheads in the first round. And they got a taste of the Utah Grizzlies, a team that is playing with a lot of passion, a chip on their shoulder. They come into Idaho Central Arena and get a big statement win against the Steelheads. And, while that 3rd star is up for debate, and it is...
Well, you think Zach Walker shouldn't have gotten the 3rd star with all zeros in the box score?
It's up for debate. I'm gonna throw a big shout out to the Grizzlies D-Corps. All of them played a really great game, but I think we got to give some love to Connor McDonald and James Shearer. I mean, those guys were blocking shots. You think about the penalty kill for the Grizzlies in this game. I mean, if Idaho gets one of those, I think maybe the momentum shifts in this game. So that D-Corps, man. I mean, that scheme, whoever drew up that scheme, probably Kanasowicz or Pike. I mean, it's got to be one of the two, but whoever drew that up, excellent job. And the Grizzlies defense did a great job of just executing that scheme throughout the course of this game. Really frustrated the Steelheads. So you got to think that there's a few adjustments for Idaho heading into game 2, but you got to love the way the Grizzlies are playing right now. Just really a flawless game.
And it was just outstanding defensively. And really the Grizzlies, you're not going to get a lot of good looks on Idaho, which is why, if you're going to get a rebound, and Shield doesn't allow many of them, but Raabe capitalized on that rebound late in the second period. And obviously you're going to need a fluke goal somewhere along the road. And that Kyle Betts goal was crazy. I mean, it was just, it bounced off a Shield's stick. It flew off the glass, and then Shield tried to glove it on top of the net, and he missed it. It hit the top of the net and then rolled back in the crease. And, Kyle Betts was able to secure it and put it in the back of the net before anybody else knew what happened. And so, it was a heads-up play by Kyle Betts, and we talked about some of the additions. I mean, Kyle Betts, played in 40 games in the AHL, and he practiced with the Belleville Senators all season long. So it's not just that you're played 40 games in the AHL, but all that practice work, all that, with top-notch AHL players, playing at that level. You come back down here, and it seems like the game has slowed down for him, and he plays at a quick pace. And it's not just that he's fast, but he plays fast, and he's such a high hockey IQ type of player. You talk about difference makers. Kyle Betts is certainly going to be that for the Grizzlies.
I agree, Tyson. I really think that, and you've mentioned this before throughout the course of the season with Kyle Betts, it just seems like ever since he got that seasoning in the AHL, he seems a bit faster, seems a bit smarter. And I think the same can be said about Brandon Cutler. I mean, he's had a few stints up in the AHL this year. Ever since, I mean, the leap from year 1 to year 2 for Brandon Cutler is very noticeable. I mean, he's playing like a veteran. He's picking his head up. He's making plays. I mean, he's always had a great shot. He's always had that goal scoring ability, but now we're seeing him make these passes, make these really nice plays, some no-lookers even. I mean, he just has that really good spatial awareness that I think he developed because he had that seasoning in the AHL. So while we sometimes complain about losing players to the AHL, and we're like, oh man, that sucks. We want to see him in a Grizzlies uniform. It's not always a bad thing, because when they do come back to the Grizzlies, they have a heightened sense of awareness, really have tuned their skills to that pro level, and right now it's paying off.
Utah 3, Idaho nothing. Game 2 of the best-of-7 series will be on Friday night. 6:45 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. And don't forget, the Grizzlies will host games 3, 4, and if necessary, game 5. And I think if you're the Grizzlies, you don't want game 5 to be necessary, because that would mean Utah would sweep Idaho 4 straight games, which would certainly be nuts. But remember, Columbus beat Tampa Bay a few years ago, when Tampa had the best record in the league. So anything can happen, and that's part of the beauty of the sport of hockey. Game 2 will be on Friday, 6:45 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. The 3 games at Maverick Center. Wednesday, April 26th will be a 7:10 face-off. Friday, April 28th will be game 4. That will be also at 7:10 if necessary. Game 5 will be on Saturday, April 29th. Now, tickets will go on sale as soon as we know that there is going to be a game 5, and that's if Idaho wins any game here in this series. Game 3, 4, games 2, 3, or 4. Game 6 and 7, if necessary, will be in Idaho. Monday, May 1st will be game 6, and then Tuesday, May 2nd will be game 7, if necessary. Both games 6 and 7 will be at Idaho Central Arena. But, Guy, based on the way the Grizzlies look tonight, it didn't feel like some one-game fluke. You can throw the regular season records out the window. Feels like the Grizzlies are in this one for the long haul.
They were solid here, Tyson. I mean, really just perfect, flawless game for the Grizzlies. I mean, you get the shutout. It just put it all together. It was just the best game of the season I think we've seen from the Grizzlies all year long. For the Steelheads, you got to think that there's some alarm bells ringing off over in Boise. If they're really, truly as good as a team as they are in the regular season, they'll come out with a strong game too. But I think the Grizzlies have really got into their minds mentally through this game 1 here, just with the way that they played. I mean, that's got to be a tough pill to swallow for Idaho. I mean, you broke almost every single record in the regular season. You got the wins record, and now you lose to the Grizzlies 3-0 in game 1 on home ice. That's got to be tough. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Idaho responds in game 2. I think there will be a response, but the Grizzlies all season long have faced adversity, and I think they'll be up to the task in game 2.
Game 2, Friday night, 6:45 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. 3 stars of the game once again, Zach Walker, who had zeros across the board for Idaho, is listed as the 3rd star on the ECHL box score. Dakota Raabe's the 2nd star. He had the game winner, 16:07 into the 2nd, and Trent Miner with the 43-save shutout. He's the number 1 star. We're just going to assume that Jordan Martell, with 1 goal and 1 assist, we'll just assume he's the 3rd star this evening. That was a lot of fun. I hear the watch party over here at Maverick Center on the other side of the building was a lot of fun. Guy and I had some fun. Friday is going to be a fight night here at Maverick Center, so I'm not sure if we can do a watch party. It's fight night here on a Friday night, but that should be a lot of fun. And Guy, we'll be here in the lobby at Maverick Center watching game 2. It's kind of interesting. After game 2 on Friday, there's going to be a 4-day rest for both teams, as game 3 will be on Wednesday, April 26th. So it's going to be interesting after Friday. Both teams will have plenty of time to get rested and make their adjustments for the 3 games here at Maverick Center.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that rest, because with the Grizzlies winning this game on Idaho ice, you think that they got that split. So the games at Maverick Center are going to be crucial. So I think that you should go to UtahGrizzlies.com and get your tickets right now for games 3 and 4, because those are going to be awesome. I mean, this game that we watched here tonight was great. I think you're right. The Grizzlies are going to be right there till the end of it. I mean, if they go down, they're going to go down fighting. And so watch this team. This Grizzlies team is special, man. Get your tickets. Come on down to Maverick Center and be a part of Grizzmania, the best fan base in the league. That watch party, I'm pretty sure I heard them all the way over here in the lobby. I don't know where they are, but I heard them. They were loud here tonight. So come be a part of something special. Watch this Grizzlies team live and in person. Come down to Maverick Center. Get your tickets at UtahGrizzlies.com.
Game 2, Friday night in Boise. Man, if you get a ticket down to Idaho Central Arena, that'd be a fun one to go to. And be loud and proud as a Grizzlies fan over at Idaho Central Arena. If not, we got the game on Flow Sports. That's the video feed, and the audio portion will be on YouTube. So it should be a lot of fun Friday night, 6:45 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. Well, that'll wrap things up here from Maverick Center as the Utah Grizzlies were just outstanding tonight. Dakota Raabe, Kyle Betts, and Jordan Martell picked up the goals. Great to have Dakota Raabe back after missing a month. Good to see Johnny Walker back on the ice. And Trent Miner looks like he's in rare form. 3 shutouts against Idaho last season, and he gets a postseason clean sheet against the Steelheads. Well, that'll wrap things up as the Grizzlies come away with the victory in 2 hours and 24 minutes and in front of a good crowd of 5,048 over at Idaho Central Arena. The Utah Grizzlies come away with a 3-0 victory as they take a 1-0 series lead in the Mountain Division semifinals. For Guy Chiarenza, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is.